welcome to the Full 42. We are already getting people talking about what better be on our list here because we're doing the top 10. We're doing top 10, right? Best movies of the 80s. Yeah, my list is 95 movies strong. I know you got a lot on there too.
I got 80 and I stopped at 80 because it was just like, this is ridiculous. But I could literally do top five for every year of the 80s. Like I went through, I have them all with the dates, like the years that they came out. And I went through and I could do five for every year. It's bonkers. This was the worst idea ever. Awful. Absolutely awful. There's no way 10 of these. There's no way.
I think Wayne's got a good idea. I thought about it halfway through, but it was too late to say the best sci-fi movies of. Sure. We could have done a top 5 of each one of those comedies, animation, that kind of thing.
Like I said, the way that I think that would be very specific to do drama. I don't know if I could really do top 5 drama. Well, I probably could, but I think 5 from each year would cover a lot. It would cover the sci-fi, it'd cover the fantasy, it'd cover the romantic comedies, it would cover the drama. Like you could get one of each one every year. But man, this sucks.
That's insane. I mean, 1984 is probably the best year in movies ever. The only one that comes close to it is 1999. Which, if you ever look up what came out in 99, oh my God, it's everything that was amazing out there. So,
arguably, but when I'm going through my list, and if you look at I don't want to give away. What can I do here?
I mean, if you say you have a lot of 1984 movies, it's not going to give anything away because there's tons and tons of them.
No, I do. I don't want to give it away. But if you look at what I have, that's going to give it away. 1989 for me has 14. 1984,
really?
8.
Ice Pirates is not on my list, although it is a ridiculous movie. There's a lot of movies that actually, what's funny is I'm thinking I know at least one movie that's probably on your top 10 that I don't have on my 95 list, which is going to be funny.
I like I told you before, I can guarantee, I'm pretty confident that 4 of mine are not on your list. Maybe on your 90. Like your
okay, but not in my top 10.
No,
okay.
I think there's going to be a tremendous amount of overlap.
I know for certain we're going to overlap on like 3 or 4 at least.
I know one because we've talked about it, and I don't think you're a fan. But I'm pretty confident on 4. Like these, I'm marking them. These 4 are not going to be on your list.
I really hope we overlap a lot so that I can push into my 20 because they're all so good that I would watch any of these on top of the other, right? I actually put all 95 of mine in order from favorite to least favorite. And I know you didn't do it. No. It was a grueling test of seeing how that happened. I'm not entirely sure I'm happy with it. But it is funny because I'm going to say one and then the other, and you're going to be like, "What? You put that over there?" You can yell at me for it. So
I will definitely. There will be choices made, and it's impossible. It's quite literally impossible to rank these. Yeah. It might be easier if we did what Wayne said and do like the top sci-fi. Like that might make it easier, but there's no way. There's no way.
Well, we can revisit it in a year and try to do that or something. But the truth is we have a lot. You showed me a list of future guests and subjects and stuff like that we have coming up. And it's some awesome board game, deep dive stuff that we could get into. And I said, well, we have a show right before all that. Why don't we do something non-board gaming? And when you suggested 80s movies, I was like, oh.
There were 3 things mentioned in that conversation: 80s movies, 90s movies, and TV series.
Yeah.
And all of them would suck. Like they'd all be pretty hard to do in the same thing. So we might as well start with 80s.
We do need to, well, before we even get into all this, I want to talk about the caveats that we gave each other before that. But before we get into all this, we should jump into announcements, right? Give people time to come and join us. Mm-hmm. So let me pop up the announcements there, and hi to everybody in the comments, by the way. feel free to throw out your favorite movies and stuff. We're not going to pop them up on the screen until after our list. We'll come back and visit them, or maybe you could just give them to us afterwards and yell at us for not having them on the list.
There's going to be so much overlap. It's not even.
There's 2 on my top 10. People are going to be like, really? Top 10? But hey, it's personal choice.
For sure. There's a lot that goes into it. We'll get into it, but there's a lot that goes into this. Like,
oh, yeah.
Very influential decade.
Yeah, God. I mean, it is exactly like your childhood right now. Both of our, like in our, where we are. So, there's a lot of stuff in here that hits real hard for me on a personal level that other people are just be like, that movie? But whatever.
Cool.
And then there's going to be some real obvious ones. All right. So, but announcement, right?
Oh, Eric, stop it.
What? Oh. Well, I feel sorry for you because that was a great time to grow up.
I'm sure you've watched these. There are definitely some I will get into it, but there's definitely some that were early in the 80s that I remember watching, obviously later, not when it came out. But.
And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to even say which ones I think would hold up to someone who has not ever seen it, like you should watch it, versus this was probably only good because I watched it as a kid. And there's a mix of them. So,
yeah, there's definitely some that do not hold up.
I can guarantee Mac and Me is not on my list.
Oh my God.
Okay, so for announcements, can we announce any of those guests that we have lined up yet? I don't think we have dates for them, right?
I don't have dates for them. No, they'll all be on, but I don't have any dates for them.
Yeah, stay tuned for cool guests.
We'll keep you in suspense, then. That's cool.
Yeah. Got any other announcements?
I got Lucas painting.
That's fun. So Lucas painting. If you haven't watched before, every episode we put up his 2-year-old son's paintings, which are getting better and better every time. And we try to Rorschach test, see what we see in it, and figure out which one of us is crazy this week. Yeah, I got up really early in the morning, early for me, 6:30, to go to jury duty this morning. So I'm probably on the crazy side.
Perfect. This one won't test your craziness too much.
Oh, that's good.
This is pretty. It's just really cool. I'm very proud of it, and I think it won't leave a lot to the imagination. It's more of a bragging, like look what he did today kind of thing. But yeah, he did 4 today. The other 3 are behind Gizmo, and this was I think my highlight anyway of today. So this was done today.
Now don't tell me what he was looking at or anything. Just show it first. Right? Okay.
This was just straight up. He saw the canvas on the table. And he's like, I want to paint, and then I made the paint, and he just started painting, and he picked the colors.
Cool.
He usually starts on the left side of the watercolor palette, so it's like red, and then orange and green and blue kind of stuff. So this was more in the mid. So he had done those, and then he went to the other side. These are more middle colors, which he doesn't. You'll see the colors. He doesn't normally pick these. One he does, but the other one he went a different way this time. So, but it's cool. Oh yeah, did you like and subscribe?
Oh yeah, everyone give a thumbs up. I always forget to do that. Big old give one of those.
What happened to the thing? There you go.
But just there you go.
There it is.
Look, we're side by side. Did you say ooh? Get away from me.
No, I said I know.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Tim. Someone's got to do it. All right. So again, this is from today.
Whoa. Man, he usually sticks to like 1 or 2 colors. It looks like a big underwater scene to me. Like you're looking up, like you're underwater, but you're looking up and you see like the underside of a boat and the fish going by and the sunlight and all that like hitting the water. Whales in the ocean, says Wayne.
Yeah, so I'll these canvases come with the little easels, and I have the easel in front of where he paints, and when he's done, he'll take it and be like, all done, and then he'll put it on the canvas. So if he wants more colors, he adds more colors. But this was it. I think
Whales and sharks looking up into the sun. Mystical island with a waterfall and blimps flying by. Ooh, I like that one.
That was interesting.
I want to make that board game. Yeah, that's a good one. Maybe it's like a sunset or something. Oh, what is this? Big Bad Wolf says die in the sky, breathing fire on airships. Oh, the dark blue on the left. Yeah, I didn't know what to do with that in my whole underwater thing.
Yeah.
I see Mac from
Good one, Dave.
That's just me. Yeah. No, I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Was he looking at anything or?
No, he just was painting. He did like the little swatch of, well, I think the blue was the last thing he did. So he did the orange and then he did the purple and then this dark blue he did.
Oh, that's a good one. Then he wanted
another blue. That's a good one. Yeah, then he did this thing here with this blue, and then he just dabbed it like the same blue. He just took the brush and kind of just
nice
dabbing. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm in the camp of looking up towards like the water surface, and this is the bottom of the boat, like almost on an angle, not directly underneath it.
Right.
And then you got the fish and the sunlight rays coming through, and I don't necessarily know what to do with this one over here.
Yeah, I like the attempt. I was like, I don't know what to do with that, so I'm not going to put that in my description. But
it'd be a whale, right? Like, this can be his head. These can be his two fins on the side and the tail hanging.
Or like one of those real fat octopus with like just a little short, stumpy ones. What do they call them? Mimic ones or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is an octopus.
I like that. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, I like that being this, like the boat, the side of a boat, and
yeah.
I don't know.
No, that was a good one. I like that.
I'm very happy with that one.
Let's see. Any other announcements before we get into our top 10 plus 75 or so?
Yeah, plus at least 75 or so.
We'll go beyond 10, probably a little bit. We'll see.
No, we didn't do a. This is the play last week. Wes decided he would rather go to a Cubs game with his kid, instead of doing the thing, which I understand, right? Family time, I get it. So we'll probably have that this Friday. Unsure what we're going to play. Oh, I know what we're going to play. We're going to play Life of Rotera. Life of Rotera isn't out yet. It's due out in June. It's the new one by Eric Lang, who will be a guest on the show at a future play. It's through Hasbro. It's really easy to learn and pick up, and then it's got that puzzly nature of tile placement and how to make things all work together within a 4x4 tile grid. I played it at the gatherings. Really
I did too. It was very good. I liked it. I wanted to try the other cards. Yeah,
oh my god,
the other sets, Yeah, we talked about it in our last episode where we talked about.
Yeah, I love the way that those little things have the cards that'll be different from game to game. So he's got a copy, I've got a copy. He's going to draw the 3 tiles, because in the game there's mostly no hidden information, but you start with 3 tiles that are blind, and the tiles aren't blind; they're kept secret from the other player. And then throughout the game, you can either play one from your hand or play one from the market, but you never replenish your hand. So the 3 you start with are the 3 you have for the game, and you can choose to use them or not. There's no like replenish your hand kind of stuff. So it'll work. It'll work nice. We'll set it up with the overhead cam for the 2 4x4s, and I think it's a fun game. So,
by the way, I have started talking to my brother about a possible side episode that we might do, where we and a couple friends go on a Star Wars role-playing game, and we'll just record it and see how weird that is. I'm strongly thinking about being your droid.
That is both awesome and very bad.
Oh, it's gonna be good. Yeah, I imagine you'll pick some kind of Han Solo-esque kind of whatever. I'm just guessing. You could be whatever you want, but
really,
Yeah, I would guess you'd do something like that.
Okay.
But I just want to. I haven't played something goofy in a long time. The last time I did, I played a Jawa, and I printed out tons of words in Jawaese, and I only spoke in Jawaese.
Please don't do that.
Oh, it was great. I mean, I won't play a Jawa, but it was so good that the players begin to start to understand me. It was great.
All right, if you're going to be a droid, are you going to be like a protocol droid, an astromech?
No, no, I won't be whistling into the mic. I will speak normally. Well, maybe not normally, but I will speak, basic or,
Okay.
you know.
All right, good. Because if you're just doing beeps and bops, I lose my mind.
I do have a kazoo somewhere.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Anyway, if you have suggestions as to what kind of characters you want to see, that would be fun. If you
What day are we doing this? Because I think I just got busy.
Oh, we'll find one where you're not.
Fine. No, I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be a good one.
All right, so before we do the whole top 10 thing, we need to tell them what our caveats were, because we threw 2 caveats right on top. Now, I know one of them doesn't matter to you, but we basically said no Star Wars, no Star Trek.
Well, Star Trek in the 80s, it does, because the Wrath of Khan and what was Search for Spock was 3. Yep. I remember watching those. I remember really enjoying them, but I was never really, it wasn't as heavy as Star Wars was for me. So the 2 things we left off were, because Star Wars has 2 of them, right? 80 is Empire, 83 is Jedi. And if you want to count the Ewok Battle for Endor,
Ewok Adventures,
that was the 80s as well. But yeah, Star Wars and Star Trek we left off the list. It kind of falls into that category of your game Troubles, my game Batman, any Arkham Horror, like any of those things that will obviously be influential in number 1 on most any list we do. Those hit hard for me, so we kept that off because they're obvious.
Utini. Yes, that was a.
I guess the only one I know is Utini. What do you know?
No, you should know Soka.
Nope.
The egg that he gets them in Mandalorian.
Yeah. No, I know they say words. Just the only one I
know it's Soka because every time I get eggs in the morning, Soka.
The only one, if you said say a word that the Jawas say, Utini would be the only one. Like I can hear that.
Speaking basic is what they call English in Star Wars. That's the name of the language that they use. So I don't mean binary or anything like that.
Oh my God, no, don't. Please don't. God, don't. Want to say hi? Yeah.
Oh, somebody didn't go to bed. This is funny. You can only repeat things if he hears and then, oh, wow. See, I like to do these things on one shot. I don't do them on long campaigns because that can get.
I want the lion.
You want the lion?
Okay.
Can you say Utini?
Can you say Utini?
Utini.
Okay.
Yeah, he could be a Jawa.
You're welcome.
In fact, shame on you for not dressing him as a Jawa already. Hey.
What's that?
What's that?
That's a lion.
Lion roar.
It's a lion roar.
What's his favorite 80s?
I want a giraffe.
What's his favorite what?
I want a giraffe.
His favorite 80s movie.
What's your favorite 80s movie? Star Wars?
I want the giraffe.
You want the giraffe? Okay, his favorite 80s movie is the giraffe.
All right, so we've left Star Wars off and we've left Star Trek's off, which that would have been half my list. So
I want it.
at least 4 of
It
them.
would have been, it would have been too much.
3 or 4.
Luca, who's that?
I know.
You don't know? Remember we talked about it earlier.
Let's see. Are we doing
Gizmo?
Are we doing number 10 and down to 1 like we normally do?
We can go in any order you want, mine or not.
We're definitely going to step on each other's number 1s, 2s, 3s, I think.
You're welcome, buddy. I don't know if we will. I mean, it depends on where we end up, right? Because there's going to be some that are going to be obvious that if I say it, you're gonna pivot, and if you say it, I'm gonna pivot. So I don't know what, and mine are not in order from number 1 down. So
Sure.
we'll see.
All right. Well, let's just start with our number 10. And why don't you start first?
Damn it.
That way you can't work off of what I just said. You won't like my number 10. Well, I won't know if you don't like it, but it definitely won't be on your list. Give me a clue. Yeah, give us a clue to try to guess what your number 10 is.
Hellbender, yeah, 85. Give you a clue?
Yeah. Give us a quote or say what year it came out. I know you have that.
Well, I don't know if I want to go from earliest to newest or.
See, this is why you should put them in order.
No, because I can't do that. It doesn't work that way. All right, let's go with the most influential. How's that?
Okay, that's
other than Star Wars.
Yeah, most influential to you or to the movie industry,
to me,
or
the one that got me like. Yeah. All right. So this one came out in 85.
85. Ooh.
Yep.
That's not the one I would have thought you'd go with most influential. Oh, okay. I know what it is. Do you want me? You want me to guess it? Because then I can step on the list.
No, do it.
Is it Back to the Future?
It's not Back to the Future.
Oh, I mean that's famously 85.
It is. There's also another one.
Which is
The Goonies.
The Goonies. Wow. This is on my list, but it's actually pretty far down.
That movie, the sense of adventure, along with playing the fucking Nintendo game that was impossible to beat. I lost so much time to that game. The Goonies gave you that treasure hunt, right? That banding together, the risk reward, the bad guys, the treasure map, the whole lore going behind it. Like that movie was just, it changed things for me I still watch it. I think it still holds up pretty well. That game was stupid. So stupid. When you were in the caves underground and there was that maze with the doors, like I lost my mind with that.
I don't think I ever played it.
Oh God, it was brutally hard. Brutally hard.
The show does hold up, though. I believe it holds up. I rewatched it maybe 2 years ago, and I was surprised. I thought it was not going to do well, but yeah.
It does really well.
There's a few moments where you're like, okay, that humor's a little dated, but overall, it's still a good,
And most of them do. Most of them have, like certain comments or certain lines that probably would be a little cringy nowadays, but the movie overall still has that sense of adventure. It still has that, those chase scenes where you feel the tension of like when they're playing the organ and the panels are falling, like it still even though you know what the hell is going to happen, it still has those goosebump kind of moments. Yeah. And I just recently found out that it's really not a spoiler, but in Loki 2 with Ouroboros, the character is played by Mouth from the Goonies. Right.
He's Data.
Data, not Mouth. Yeah. He's wearing the belt from the Goonies.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
So if you go back and there's one scene in it's kind of like a library kind of room that they're in with the big shelves on the wall and right. The New York hat that he's wearing in Lost Ark is there in the movie too. It's hanging on.
That's funny.
There's a couple little. So even now, like some of that stuff from his childhood and those movies pay off. Like they're still there. So
that's funny. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goonies is my number 18.
Should be higher.
It's tough.
It is. This is impossible. This list was absolutely impossible. There's I keep looking at this list going, I have to talk about that one. How do I not talk about this one?
There's a lot of movies in the 80s. I don't know if they really make them like this anymore, but there's a lot of movies in the 80s that gave you a sense of adventure, that made you want to go outside and find a secret passage behind some trees into another world. Just, it made that imagination thing happen. And I just don't see that anymore.
It's huge. Going through this list of, and a lot of my movies have that behind it. A lot of my picks, have that behind it. That sense of adventure, that sense of going outside and imagination and creativity. A lot of what I have on my list were created by those movies from the 80s.
Yeah. Okay, so my number 10 is also, I won't say it's more adventure. It's kind of what started my love of film noir that I've talked about. But at the same time, it hit right at the time I was considering being an animator. And it's Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, nice. That's on my list.
Is it
not on my 10, not on the list I want to talk about, but one that's on my list of.
I still have a book that I got at the time that the movie came out that basically tells the story, but in like comic book frames that they just took from the movie, like real cheaply made. But like I reread it all the time because back then you couldn't just watch it on stream all the time, right? Until it came to VHS. Then I just wore the hell out of that. But I love the whole. It was like light film noir for a kid, right? They had the saxophone in the background and the, sitting in the bar drinking and the detective all dejected and his brother died and all that. But it also had the ridiculous stuff that kids could really get into. And I still, the shave and a haircut thing and all that stuff still in my head won't go away kind of stuff. I love it.
It wasn't until afterwards that you realize, like, it comes across as almost like a kid's movie, right? Because of the cartoon, but then it's got the baby looking under the skirt as it walks underneath the girl. Like very dark kind of stuff. Yeah. And I really do like Roger Rabbit, but Cool World.
See, I was the other way. I couldn't get into Cool World very much. I thought it was interesting, but I was already like, it's not Roger Rabbit.
Interesting.
I just thought that the story, it's a murder mystery. That was maybe my, as a kid, what was it, 89, I think it came out in. As a kid, when I was, 11 years old, that might have been my first, like, murder mystery I cared about, like, watching kind of thing.
Roger Rabbit was 88.
88. Okay, so 10 years old, yeah. So, yeah, perfect time to get in my head and live there forever.
It was definitely interesting, that whole murder mystery thing. But then when you watch it, like, later on, and the scandal and the intrigue and the cheating and the darkness that's in that movie is not something you pick up the first time because you're too young to realize it.
Right. Patty cake. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's my number 10.
That's a good one.
All right. What's your number 9?
Are we not snaking? We're coming right back to me?
Nah, just go back to you.
God damn it. All right. Well, let's go down the adventure roll again, and let's go 1981.
Ooh, 81.
Yep.
Okay, hold on. Let me think. 81. Is it animated?
It's not animated.
Oh, okay. So it's not that one that I was thinking of. Is it fantasy?
It is not fantasy.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Give it to us. I won't guess forever. So
Raiders.
Yep. Yeah, you hit my number 1.
And that was your number 1?
That's my number 1, yeah.
Yeah, the movie it set off that whole thing, right? Like the sarcasm and the sense of adventure, being in a different land, right? Being all of the things that it has is just, it's amazing. Yeah, it has to be on the list. It triggered that whole love of indie, right? Like that whole sense of adventure. And then when you got to, as much as some sequels and trilogies kind of falter, there are those few that really just stick it, right? Like Star Wars with Empire just nailed it. And then the entire, except for Crystal Skull, which had its moments, the entire indie line just kept, like, it just, you knew what you were getting into.
Yeah, Raiders, and I did just rewatch this again for the 100th time or whatever, maybe a year ago. It's still so good. Yeah, and it totally, you can watch it today for the first time and enjoy it.
Yep.
I don't know if people will get the same enjoyment from it because so many movies have borrowed from it since that none of it will feel like fresh and new and stuff like that. You'll be like, oh yeah, I've seen this kind of thing before, I think. But
Right.
at the same time, like it's a great story. It's got a great feel to it. Yeah, it's a great movie.
Epic moments, right? The scene on the rope bridge, like there's just too many of those moments that stick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's weird when you said adventure, like I thought I was still like in the kids' adventure thing. That's why I was like trying to get.
What animated one from 81 were you thinking of?
I can't say. It might be on my list.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you know afterwards, though. And I'm not entirely sure it was 81. I think it's around there, but
Right. You're inaccurate in your stuff. I got it.
Yeah. So since you took away my number 1, I'll bring in my number 11, and people are going to already be upset that this wasn't going to be on my top 10 because it's been mentioned twice, but it's The Princess Bride.
Oh, that's one of the ones I was going to talk about.
Yeah.
Yep.
The only reason why it's my number 11 is because the other ones were just so strong that it just barely it hurt to push it to 11. Yeah. At the table. It is 100%. Yeah. Yes. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I knew this would happen. Yeah.
Yeah, this was definitely in my top 10. This one
it is 100% the most quotable of all these movies, which is insane because almost all of them I could quote from, right?
Yeah.
But there's just tons and tons and tons. And when you can just say something to another person and that they get it, there's that instant connection,
Mm-hmm.
It just last night, I was saying goodbye to a friend who was just telling me that they were about to go to Scotland and go visit some castles. So I said, have fun storming the castle. He laughed, knowing exactly. It's just that connection.
Yep.
This is amazing. Yeah, obviously I don't need to tell the comments because they're yelling at me for not having the top 10.
For me, again, with that sense of adventure, right? You have this grandfather taking time to read the story to his grandson, right? And that whole imagination takes over because you're watching the movie as it takes place in Fred Savage's head, right? Because he's creating it, and that whole idea of adventure from a book, like it runs through most of the movies that I have on this list, and that's one of the quintessential. There's the one I'll mention next. But that one was so good at what it was doing.
And again, I feel like it helped to be around Fred Savage's age whenever we watched it so that we felt the same kind of interest as it went along. And so it's,
Anyone want a peanut?
That's the quote that you go for.
Yep. Yeah, there's too many. Like I even when the game came out more recently from Ravensburger, I had a horrible time with it because scenario 2 is impossible. Like I when you're on the boat and they're all moving around, you're trying to do whatever you're doing. But I really enjoyed reliving like the campaign. It goes really well with the story with the movie. Like every scenario you're trying to do what the movie did, right? And there's these checkpoints you're trying to do. Like those adventure book series are really good. And it just made me want to watch it again, but it's still so good at what it does.
Yeah. That's a movie that you could watch again and again and again forever. In fact, I feel that way about my entire top 10 list that I could just watch once a month and be happy, I'll never get tired of that movie. It's great.
Such a different era, like what was going on in the 80s with these movies. Also it's our perspective, like how old we are. We're growing up in this decade, and they're just so influential.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This was a great little advertisement that he did. That was great.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's my number 9. So we're gonna go to your number 8.
All right, I'm gonna stick with the same. Well, this one came out in 84.
What didn't?
this movie that I'm about to talk about. Okay, oh, I didn't. Got it. It's in the same realm of, not in the same realm of Princess Bride, but it's got that same storytelling aspect of it.
Ooh, storytelling aspect.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess.
You mean like someone's narrating?
No.
Oh. Okay. I have a slight guess, but go ahead. I don't want to blow up any. It's not a strong guess.
It's a never-ending story.
Oh, okay. That's better than what I was guessing.
Yeah, like he finds that book, right, and he goes into the warehouse or that room, and he starts reading the book, and you're in his head while the whole story is taking place. Like he's creating that whole thing of, and it goes to, you know, education and learning. Good readers, what good readers do. Good readers create a movie in their head when they're reading. So like both of those movies, Princess Bride and Neverending Story, you have this reader who's reading the book, and we're getting the movie that's in their head while they're reading it. And obviously in hindsight, like I'm looking at it from a different perspective now, but that was one. I just saw recently a post. It had Atreyu and the horse.
We just said his name like a week ago, didn't we? Because we were talking about this.
Was it Shadowfax? Fuck.
Someone say it in the comments.
Yeah, the horse's name
No, Falcor was the luck dragon.
Falco was it? It's something. I knew there was an AX.
There you go.
Hi,
I think I was talking to Matt about it. Isn't he the one that told us before?
It could be.
I remember. Someone told us what it was. Yeah.
Falcor was fantastic. But I saw they made these. They took these figures. I don't know if they're STL files or if they're made, but they put them in like the dirt, buddy. They put him in the dirt of a tree, like a potted plant, where he's like pulling on the reins of the horse. Like,
that scene,
an awful scene. For what was it, 84? So I'm what, 8?
I know.
So bad.
I know.
But that whole, and then they came out with the second one, which it kind of ruined it. But that first one, man, goes right along with that. I know it's super traumatizing.
I actually snuck a little bit of homage of that movie into Andromeda's Edge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got to do a lot of art for the modules and stuff, and I snuck all kinds of fun stuff into the little side artwork and stuff. So
I can't wait to go over that game when we get it. Yeah, so influential, like it still sticks. It's still that adventure, right? It's still got that storytelling aspect, and again with Princess Bride, when you're in the head and you're watching the movie as the main character is reading the story. I love that sense of adventure.
Yeah, that was, and it was early on too. It was like, okay, adventure, and then like 20 minutes in, 30 minutes in, like you're like, oh no, things are real.
Oh my God.
This is brutal.
And then you have this kid, right, getting bullied. Now he's the main character of the story, and it relies on him to save. Like it's just a really good. I love the story. So.
Yeah,
buddy.
No, that was a great one. It is number 22 on my list.
Okay, but
still amazing. Great movie.
It is a good movie.
I mean, if you're on the top 50 of this, I'm loving the movie. So there's just too many good ones.
I have 80. It's too easy. It's awful. It really is awful.
Yeah, this is a new rule in our house where I have to find out before showing the movies that, make sure that there aren't traumatizing things and stuff. But yeah, that's a tough one.
Yep.
Okay, we're doing number 8. So
yes.
I stuck Princess Bride in there because of that. I'm just trying to make sure I don't repeat myself. All right, so my number 8 is a total reversal of what you just did. There is a kid in it, but it is quite horrifying.
Is it Mac and Me? Hey, Ali.
Hey, Scott.
Not here, please.
Howdy.
That makes too much noise. Give me a year.
Oh, that's a good guess, Matt. That's a really good guess, but it's not that. He's guessing Poltergeist. No, it's more actiony too. Action, horror, kid.
Give me a year.
I don't remember the year. I can tell you that. Okay, well, this will give it away, though. Yeah, I'll go ahead and tell you this, and then you'll be able to guess it probably. There are 2 movies on my top 10 list that are sequels, but I don't have the first movie on there.
What?
Yeah.
Yep. So
I
we're
got
talking
nothing.
we're talking action, horror, has a little kid in it, and it's a part 2.
Is it a human kid?
Yeah.
A human child?
Kabuki got it. Leave it to Kabuki to guess it. It's Aliens.
Oh, nice. That's on. That's good. That's a good pick.
Sci-fi, huge lover of sci-fi. Of course, if you love 80s movies, you're just gonna see at least some of that sci-fi, right? Yeah. Newt running around, that whole thing where she, of course, it helps to have the first movie, right?
Mhm.
Because that part's all horror and stuff. But this one, man, you got Bill Paxton, you got Reese, every character, even like the side Marines are fun, and
Yeah.
the corporate guy gets it, and you're like, yeah, good. But just there's horror mixed in with action.
Yeah.
I love Bishop and his whole character and what they did with that.
Yeah.
Can't tell you how many times I stabbed my own hand trying to do the knife thing as a kid. Yeah, Alien was a horror. I look at Aliens as an action, but it's horror action. It's a mixture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sci-fi more than horror. I agree. Yeah. So yeah, Aliens. I like Aliens more than Alien, but I like Alien a lot. I think Alien was 79 though. I don't think it qualified. But yeah, Aliens was amazing, and it's unfortunately only make 2 of them, but that's fine.
Well, they made more.
Yeah, no. I think they did.
They made more.
I have more denials later, so
Okay. Still made more.
yeah, Alien 79. So I thought.
Oh, hi, Luca. Yeah, what do you have?
All right, so now we're gonna do your number 7.
You do.
There are not enough numbers in this.
This is gonna be it's brutal. All right, I'll go horror. I'll join you in horror. So I'm gonna go 1984.
Okay.
With this one, 84's got a lot, man.
I know that doesn't narrow it down very much.
No, and there's only 2 on my list. Nope, 3. Because I just added one when we went live. Yeah, Alien was 79, right.
Okay, so you got horror from 1984.
Last Crusade was 90s, though, wasn't it?
I think it was like 89 or something like that.
Was it?
I could be wrong. 88, 89. Kabuki says
89. I thought it was 90s. I loved that. Sean Connery in that movie is fantastic, but I didn't even think about putting it because I thought it was 90. Or 90s. All right, yeah. So 84 horror. What one stands out?
Sean is he's guessing Elm Street. That's a pretty strong one for horror for me because that's the goofy horror one. It's not on my list though. That's not really horror, but that's the guess right there. Is that it?
That's a good guess.
That's a good guess. What else we got here? Elm Street was 84. Oh, this might be it.
That's also a good guess.
Oh, it's not? All right. I'm going to stop putting up. We're taking out chunks of list here. All right. What is it?
Elm Street.
Is it Elm Street? Okay.
First Nightmare on Elm Street. Yep.
Wow.
So I remember it was the first time I had seen a horror movie. And I remember sitting in front of the TV on a chair in the living room. And there was some scene. I don't know if it was the bed scene. It was, obviously in one of the nightmares. Where Freddy, it was one of those jump scare moments. And I literally fell off the chair. Like I'm sitting on, it was like a dining room table, like a wooden chair in the living room watching the TV set. And I remember the TV set. It was one of those dumb wooden ones with the speakers on the side. I remember watching the movie, and then there was that jump scare moment, and I literally fell off the chair. Like it jumped, it caught me so hard. But then I was like, oh, I want to watch more of this.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. It's so fucking creepy, right?
Is that Johnny Depp?
We just talked, yeah. We
I
just
didn't know
talked
that.
about it too, about
I need
him.
to rewatch that.
The what? Of course, it's Johnny Depp.
Oh, I just didn't know that.
That was it. That was it.
Long.
I think that was it with the rocks. But yeah, it scared the hell out of me. But I even it was goofy, but it was more like I don't want to sleep now because of what happened. Like it really did. It fucked you up. And then all the ones, like it started to get a little more weird as they went on. But man, that first one just punched.
Yeah, and that was the scary bit, right? It wasn't just the jump scares. You do a jump scare at me like Jason or something like that, I'm like, oh, okay, you got me.
Yeah.
But then it goes away. But when the concept of I'm going to get you in your sleep happens, you can't get that out of your head.
No.
Yeah, he's my favorite horror monster from the 80s just because of that.
Yeah. There's a lot of them, right? Like Jason's good. Like whenever I'm out, really anything from Wes Craven, he gets into your head so well with what he does, right? There was one, what's the one? Something Darkness, I think it's called. That Wes Craven did. That was underrated. It was later on. It was in the maybe mid 90s.
I'm sure comments will tell us in a second.
Yeah, but man, it too good for what it did for me moving forward with horror movies. Like that was the pillar of, oh, cool, I like this. Yep.
Nice. Yeah. No, that's a good one. That's like the campy horror, right? And that's my favorite of all campy horrors. Yeah.
It's a good one. Yeah, same thing with Scream, right?
Scream was 90s though, right? Or he's just answering your question, right?
No, it wasn't that one. It was I forgot the guy's name. He's a well-known actor. But it was something by Craven, and it was something Darkness. It wasn't Army of Darkness. No, I want to say it was something Darkness, not Eternal Darkness, something Darkness. But it was in the 90s.
I forgot about House, Matt. That is such a good one. Did you ever see House?
Yeah.
Oh man, that one really got to me.
Yeah.
The whole, like the weird thing was, as a kid, I had no idea what Vietnam was. I didn't understand the hook at the end, so. You know, that didn't really, but there were so many good scares and moments in that movie. Yeah. All right. Well, this isn't top horror.
When you think of, and this is obviously later, but when you think of like jump scares, I think the one that stands out the most for me is from Jurassic Park, where the raptor was in the kitchen window and it huffed. Like you just, oh my God, it was just like, you know what I mean?
You were talking about where it was going to ram into the side of the thing. You thought it was about to get the girl, and it was
no. It was very simple, right? The music is quiet, and you know they're trying to hide out, and the thing's got its eye in the door, and then it huffed, and it was just like it just caught
you. Don't do it, Matt. You're going to get that song stuck in my head.
Yeah, Greatest American Hero every time.
Yeah, the reflection gag got me. It was good.
All right, Elm Street. Stop it.
Yeah, that was a good one. Not on my list. I totally forgot about horror, and well, not totally, but I don't have any campy horror in my
Elm Street is not on your list at all from top 80s movies?
No, but it should be. I just forgot about campy horrors.
Oof.
It should be. I'm not saying it wouldn't be. I just totally forgot. You know how many movies in the 80s? You know how many. You just did the same list as me. Nope, don't do it, Wayne. It's going to be stuck in my head. Okay, so my number 7 is the other sequel that I don't have the first one in because that first one happened in the 70s. But I love this movie. I've quoted it a billion times in different ways. I even quote it in, well, no, that I quote weird stuff that nobody knows it even comes from that. And I snuck it into a game as well. I snuck it into the same game, Andromeda.
Another sequel?
It is another sequel. Trying to see it. Oh, so other people know. We have said no Star Trek, no Star Wars because our list would be half of that if we did that. So, if you're guessing, it's not Star Trek 2 or Empire Strike Back, but it is a sequel. So I will tell you. I believe it came out in '81.
No.
It was the first and best example of a comic book movie ever. Well, its first movie was. The second one, Superman 2.
Oh, yeah.
With
80.
Zod and Earth. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Superman 2 is 80.
Yeah, 80, not 81. Yeah. Superman 2. There you go.
Yeah.
Some people called it. So Superman 1 is, of course, better in my head, but it came out in
79. Yeah,
79. So, of course, 2 is almost like they did such a good job of putting Zod and them in the beginning of the first one that make it feel like it's all connected, right?
Right.
I don't like the Richard Donner redo or something. It's goofy. I don't know if you've seen that or not. The original is the best one. So if you're going to watch it, yes, original. So
that was 78.
That movie, yeah. So that movie, for me, like being trapped in the Phantom Zone and Planet Houston. I live in Houston. All that little stupid stuff got under my skin early. But that Superman series 1 and 2, and they never made any more. I told you there'd be more of it.
Yep.
That those two movies that started the thing where they brought in there were little goofy moments between characters that made you love them and all that stuff, right? And you see that today in good superhero movies where they make you like these characters by giving funny little moments and stuff like that. I just love the movie, and it's kind of what started me into, what are comic books, that kind of thing, I ended up being more X-Men centered than DC, but, I'll always love Superman.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
And Gene Hackman is the best Lex Luthor ever.
For sure.
Australia.
Perfect comment. The first one was ridiculous. The second one, I got when you watch Thor and he's about to fight the whatever the hell that big thing is that shoots fire from his eyes or his whatever.
The big Sentinel thing.
Yeah. That whole scene down the dirt road with the buildings on the side, it gives you a very, very cool feel of that in Superman 2.
Yeah, that's true. I hadn't thought about that. That's cool. Yeah,
that was on my list, obviously, for reasons.
Yep, John Williams. That song, there's a lot of John Williams, honestly, and a lot of our picks. So obviously.
There are two people when you think about if you think about movies and influential songs from your childhood, John Williams and David Foster are just huge. Like there are so many things of theirs that's just iconic, right? When you hear it, you can just all you have to do is think it, and you can hear the tin from the horns are just amazing.
Yeah. Oh, she's expecting Raiders to be. I've already said Raiders in my number 1. He stepped on it with his number 9, right?
It was number 9, but again, it's not number 9 because mine aren't ranked. It was so influential. There's so many moments in the movie that was just. Yeah, David Foster is just killer. His music was amazing. Is amazing. He's still making music.
Nice.
All right. Well,
7, so we're on to number 6.
Yeah. So since you took Superman,
did you have Superman 2 on your list?
I did.
Oh, nice. And you didn't guess it? It was a sequel.
I was thinking. I mean, yes, but there's a lot that are in there, right? Like, well, I don't know. I won't say anything else. There it could be a few. It did.
Oh,
It's not
well,
David Foster. I thought it was.
we know what happened in the end. So.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to go with a movie from later in the decade, in 1989, that is also superhero focused.
Oh, well, then I know what that one is, and that's on my list too.
Yeah, because you can't not. The idea. One, it's Keaton. Two, it's Nicholson, and they did such a great job creating that on-screen world of darkness and hell that city was going through. There's so many things in that movie that are still mimicked today, that still land. It's crazy. It was absolutely crazy when I first saw that movie.
Yeah. It was amazing, and it overtook. That was the first time past maybe Star Wars that I saw Batman everywhere.
Mhm.
Like kids were dressed as it. You saw the shirts. You saw it everywhere. Right? I mean, people had keychains, and it was so strong. Just immediately loved by like everybody that was around at that time.
Yeah.
It was insane. Yeah, of course. That's an amazing one, and that's my my number 6.
Yeah, that's I just mentioned it as 6.
Yep.
It's so good. It's so good. Also, Danny Elfman and what's his name? Burton. Like that combination, like it was something that I hadn't seen before, and that combination worked so well.
And Jack Nicholson's Joker, you could tell he tailored it off of the the series, the Romero one, right?
Yeah.
You could tell that it was tailored off of that, but he made it so dark and like real feeling that you were like, oh, that's chill. Like, how do you fry somebody with a stupid electric buzzer handshake and still make it seem creepy and like, could that happen? Like, I'm not shaking people's hands anymore. Like, yeah.
I just saw there was somebody did a poster, like almost like a side profile of each of the people that have played Jokers back from Romero to the new one, right? What's his name? And they gave them all a moniker, right? Like Romero was the clown, and Nicholson's was the what was his, the gangster, and you had you had Heath Ledger's, where like every one of them fit because they're all portrayed so differently in each of the films. It was really clever how they had lined up each one to a different.
Oh, that's
thing.
cool.
Yeah.
It's an amazing film, and it holds up. I feel as long as you look at it in the style it was meant to be, right?
Yeah.
Because you're right, it's got that whole Tim Burton kind of gothic feel. So now they try so hard to make the movies that come out more realistic in a way. There's not a style to them as much as that was, and so it might shock somebody if they hadn't seen it before to give it a try. But if you're thinking Tim Burton style, then you're gonna be good.
Yeah, even with Batman Returns, like I remember being so freaked out by the Penguin and how well that Danny DeVito portrayed him, but how well he was written into the movie. Buddy. Hi. No, it's not a tiger.
That's funny.
Yeah, the only thing that comes close to anything in Batman, obviously the animated series out, was Heath Ledger's Joker. Otherwise, Batman, the original '89 Batman, was damn near perfect.
Yeah. I love that movie, and I also had the shirts and all that stuff. So I still think it's funny. Sometimes it pops in my head. I think it's funny that he couldn't look up as Batman, so he always had to do this whole.
Yeah, he always did the whole upper thing. Yeah. The animated series is still. I mean,
but we haven't done the top 10 animated series yet.
So iconic.
It
was so ridiculous what they did in that series. It's kind of like how important Clone Wars and Rebels is to Star Wars. The animated series was so it's very similar in what it did for the characters, right? It gave us Harley. It was so damn good. and also having Hamill in there with Conroy. I mean, Conroy is fantastic.
Mm.
Yep. So yeah, 6 Batman.
All right. Well, since you took my 6, and you took my 1, I'm going to have to go to my number 12, which I was surprised this was 12 because I love this movie so much. We've talked about it before, I believe. But everybody knows this movie who grew up in the 80s because it was like so fantastical, so amazing the way they put it together. It was created an entirely new world with no human faces at all.
What?
Yeah. It's a whole movie where you never see a human face.
What?
There you go. Matt got it.
Oh, nice. Yep, that's on my list.
Oh, the Dark Crystal was so good.
Oh,
God. It was an amazing classic, instant classic.
Yep.
And to do that, yes, and to do that with puppets, and you were totally engaged the second it happens. I still think about it. I mean, I based some of my artwork for The Last Light, like the style with the all that stuff based off of some of their constellation drawings and stuff like that. I made it more sci-fi, but I just love the whole look and feel of it, the world, all that. I've got a game design in my head for it someday.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's an amazing, and to have an entire thing where you don't have humans at all was the biggest kick, right? Because until then, even Sesame Street had humans next to puppets just to keep you interested or something. But yeah,
the sexies were. I still can't get over this. Like, it was not traumatizing, but like you can't get the image out of your head when they were stripping the one.
Yes,
when he got demoted or whatever they called
Chamberlain.
it.
Yep.
Holy fuck! That scene was so awkward and so like, what is going on?
Yeah, he was all cringing in there.
So bad. Yeah, their noise that they made. It was just, oh God.
He is joking, right?
Dark Crystal was fantastic.
Yeah, I still have the art book for it, which is amazing. They have pages in there that are kind of like see-through trace paper where they put the art and you can put it on top of the character designs that they've put and drawn off of that kind of stuff. That's cool. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, this scene too.
Yes, her eyes. Yeah.
So dark.
I know.
But I remember the first time watching it when we went into that. Not Aurora. What was her name?
Kira?
No, the one with the eye. Lived on.
Now you said Aurora. It's out of my head.
Yeah, I can't get it. Olga.
Thank you.
When we went into that room and there was that whole thing going on, it created this big thing that just didn't. It was crazy. That whole movie is crazy.
You know what? A question about the Netflix show. I didn't finish it, and it was a weird time that it came out that I didn't have a lot of time to sit and watch a show either. So I was trying to watch it while working, and you can't do that whenever it's something fantastic like that and all. It didn't quite feel to me like you were following one person's kind of story for the most part through it. Like I said, I only got halfway. So It just didn't hook me as much, but it really felt like you were still in the world. They did a really great job of making you feel there. So I would totally tell anybody, give it a try. Maybe it'll hook you. And I want to try it again myself sometime because I was in a weird situation and just not sitting there and enjoying it, like popcorn eating, that kind of thing. So take that for a grain of salt. Yeah.
That's a good one. That's really good. So I mean, another one, I feel like they kind of get not mixed up, but talked about in the same vein is Labyrinth.
Mm-hmm. That's also on my list, but way down.
Right. It's not. I tried to watch it, but I'm such a Dark Crystal fan that I can't get over. It just feels like it wanted to be that, and it wasn't.
Right. I mean, same studio and stuff, right? Sure. It's just The puppets weren't quite there. They stuck a human in, two humans, sort of, and it just didn't. They didn't commit as hard, I think, to the fantasy world. Still, a lot of great moments in it.
Well, and the singing, right? It felt like it was trying to do the thing, but the thing had already been done. I feel like there's two camps, right? There's the Dark Crystal camp, and there's the Labyrinth camp. And I don't think I've ever talked to someone that's like, oh, they're both great. It's always like, no, this one's way better. Oh, no, this one's like, this is a cult following.
I like them both, but I don't. I think the Dark Crystal totally stands up to today's time. I don't think the Labyrinth does.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
I'm in neither camp.
Oh, so he wasn't kidding.
Wow. All right. No, Dark Crystal, good pick.
How do
that
you?
Was 82. That was the year my sister was born.
Huh.
Yeah, fizzy gig.
Yeah, I'd love to have a fizz gig.
Had such
I kind of do. My cat's kind of fizz giggy.
Fizz giggy?
Fizz giggy? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the only thing for you. Okay. Doesn't like puppets.
All right,
I got a puppet back here, right there.
Aldi doesn't like Jim Henson. Got it.
There's a puppet right there.
Don't point out the puppet.
He's asleep. He's got Jane's hat on.
I don't want to look in that direction on your screen. I don't want to see
it. Old man puppet. You're so weird.
Don't acknowledge the puppet is even in your.
He's behind Batman.
I don't
Creeping
care.
up behind Batman. Who's holding a bunch of stuffed dragons. Wow. Look at that.
Wow.
Well, what are you going to do?
There's so many movies, right? It also depends on what you're watching, how you're watching it, what state.
I know people are going to have movies that aren't even in my top 50, and they're going to be like, "What?" So. Okay, so that was number 6. Now we're going to number 5. What you got?
All right, I know you're going to mention this one, so I'm going to leave this one off. And
you can't. You're sneaking movies onto your list thinking that I'm going to say. I have one that I don't even know if you've seen. Maybe you have. We've never talked about it.
Awesome. We'll find out, I guess.
And there's 2 that you'll totally easily. No, there's 3 that you'll totally easily be able to guess. So that's fine.
We only have 5 left.
I know.
This is rough, man. This is
hard.
so rough.
Yeah.
So if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, that means I need to talk about this or this. Oh, God damn it. It's so brutal. It's so brutal.
Ooh, that is on my list, but it's way down.
No, I can't. I never got into it.
Oh, I did, but
it was so dry.
It was a little long. If you were to cut it for today's patience level, I think it'd be really good. But
yeah. All right, I'm going to go. This one I know would not be on your list at all. So
hey, Alan, I think that was his number 9.
Beetlejuice is good. No, yeah, Never Ending Story was on my list for sure.
You don't think he'll be on my list at all? Like, I know what it is then.
What is it?
Is it a comedy?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, if you have to think about it, it's not what I'm thinking.
No, it's not that one. I know what one you're thinking, and that is definitely on my list.
Of course it is.
No, this one was. I don't know. I just remember it. I remember it being so cool when I watched it. I'm not sure if it still holds up. It's super sad when you think about. I mean, they leave you with a little bit of a hope at the end, but it's from 1989.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is huge, clearly, because I have 14 from 89 on my list. There's a little nod to it in Monsters, Inc.
And
it co-starred Howie Mandel.
Are you talking about the one where he was like, I don't know, like there was a secret monster or something like that, or
kinda?
Yeah, I don't remember what it was called. What was it?
Little Monsters.
Little Monsters.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
That whole so instead with Monsters Inc., the monsters came into the human world through the closet, right? And
Right.
this one, the monsters came in from a door underneath your bed.
Ah.
And then so the thing happens, and if you look at
Average was that?
Howie Mandel's character, he's got that. Yep, the one with Fred Savage. He's got that blue with the dots like Sully has in Monsters Inc.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole idea of going into that world, the monster world, right? As not Boo from Monsters Inc., where you just goofy and you have no idea what's going on. Like Savage was of the age of like knowing what was going on, but there was this whole world happening in there where there was like these streets and the slums and this monster and the staircase with like the final boss kind of thing. I remember that being such an adventure in my head when I was watching it that it's still like when I watch Monsters Inc. and I just rewatched Monsters Inc. And when we talk about Pixar movies or those kind of things, like that one still gets me every fucking time I watch it. I cannot not tear up watching that movie. And it hits even harder now with these two. But
of course,
I still get the Little Monsters, like the throwback to Little Monsters and what that did for me when I was watching it when I was younger. I love that movie. I think it was. I don't know how much it would. I haven't watched it in a while, so I don't know how much it would hold up now. But it was so good when I just remember it staying with me for so long, buddy.
Alan just got here apparently. Yeah, we already talked about Batman.
Yeah, we talked about Batman.
Obviously, that was going to be in there. Yeah, I saw it. I remember seeing it, but it just didn't hook me at all at the time. And I saw it right when it came out. So whatever reason.
Yeah. I loved it. It was later on, right? 89. There were so many other things happening in 89, but like I just remember that whole that adventure, right? Like going into this other world that could be right there and you have no idea. Like I love that. It wasn't a fantastical like going back in time with The Princess Bride or Never Ending Story, which is like this, otherworldly kind of thing. This one could actually like you look under your bed and is there a door under the rug? Like I don't know. It was just I remember that being super cool. So
cool. Yeah.
Last Crusade I missed. I'm pissed that I didn't think about putting. I really thought it was in the 90s, so I didn't put it on.
Yeah, more people talking about Monsters Inc. than Little Monsters.
Monsters Inc. I mean, spoiler for a future episode, but I think Monsters Inc. or WALL-E are probably Monsters Inc. would edge it out. It's so well done in what they do. Like it's crazy how good it is. And again, it has aged with me. So watching it when I first watched it was like, this is great. And I really I enjoyed it. And I thought it was funny and it was a cool sense of adventure. And now watching it just recently, I watched it like back-to-back nights, like the week before The Gathering. And it hits so hard now. It's so good. And the cast is great. So quotable. It's just really, it's a really good movie.
We only have 5 left.
It sucks. This sucks ass. It's so bad.
All right. Well,
I mean, I only have 4 left. That helps.
All right. I have this one. I don't know if we've ever talked about it. I don't know if you've ever seen it. If you haven't, you should definitely see it. Anyone. But my number 5 is The Untouchables.
Oh my God. It's on my list.
Is it? Okay.
Too good.
We've just never really talked about it, but one of those ones that haven't come up. But yeah, I mean, this has all the tension, those moments. It's got amazing character moments, characters that you love. So unfortunately, bad things happen to many of them, but that's the gangster movie life kind of thing and all. But what's his name? Robert De Niro playing Al Pacino. Oh, that first scene with the baseball bat and the enthusiasm. Oh, it's so good. Like every single scene in that movie is quotable and watchable and like on the rooftop, everything. You just think about one scene out of that and it's great. It's so well crafted. Everything is like, this is a beautiful movie.
87.
Yeah, and it's weird too because I'm not a huge Kevin Costner fan, but I'm a fan of the movies he picks to be in. Yeah, like I don't hate him or anything, but he's kind of like the the older Western Keanu Reeves is what he brings to acting. Like it's kind of a flat line, kind of, yeah, I'm kind of that guy here. But what he does is he kind of makes all the other characters around him. He plays the straight guy to all their crazy characters, right? And that sometimes you need that. So, him being Elliot Ness, very kind of monotone almost throughout the whole thing, lets you enjoy Sean Connery and Al Pacino and all their craziness as they go through. So, yeah, that's another Connery movie. Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't talk about 80s movies and not bring up Connery.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, there's definitely some.
Yeah.
Yep. Good pick. Yeah, that's a great one. It's so different from what, like, my entire list. Like, that is an outlier for a lot of the things that are on here. Like, that one is not like any of the others.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about almost kids movies in a way, or things that you really enjoyed. Although I said Aliens, I don't know if you call that a kids movie, but yeah, this one definitely not kids movies. Or I don't believe I saw it at 87. I probably saw it a couple years afterwards on VHS, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was one of I think it was the first movie that got me into, what's this whole mafia thing, and go back and watch the older ones and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, there's some good ones. It one of my favorites, Untouchables. Yep, it's a great
and deserved it. I don't know what it was up against, but
Kabuki had mentioned Scarface being one up on Untouchables, and I like Scarface for what it was doing, but Untouchables for me just had more. I just had more.
Scarface is not on my list of 95 movies. I did write it down and I took it off, mainly because it's not a movie I care about seeing ever again. I liked it for what it was, but there's nothing that's going to bring me back to it. It's, for me, that entire movie is that last scene with "Say Hello to My Little Friend," the last scene that everybody knows. All up until then feels very slow and just trying to drive up to that, right? Whereas Untouchables, every single scene, him talking to Connery on the bridge when he first meets him, just the interactions, the dialogue, everything is just awesome. I'll watch any scene and then continue to keep watching the show.
What was the one with, it had an all-star cast and it had so many of those moments. It had Matt Damon in it. It had
Ocean's 11?
No. It was more, it was like the Boston Mafia or Boston
Departed?
Departed, that one. I got a very like Untouchables feel from that movie, right? With the characters, the interactions, and the moments that they were having with each other. It gave obviously much different of a movie, but it had the same kind of depth to the characters and their situations as you went through the movie.
Right. Yeah. There are some movies where it feels like every scene is a work of art almost.
Yeah.
So yeah, and this is one of them.
Great pick.
Awesome. All right, down to number 4. You only get 4 off of this whole list.
What else did you get from me? You got Superman 2, Untouchables.
Was that on your top 10 list?
Yeah. Those are what I was talking about. Nice. What was the other one you talked about? No, that was
Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Aliens. You took Raiders and Batman from me. Princess Bride?
Princess Bride was on mine too, yeah. I'm just keeping tabs of which one you took from me. All right. God, 4 more. Really 3, because this one's coming out.
You can't do that. You can't make me say it so that you get to say which ones you want.
I'm definitely gonna. Like, I know you're saying it.
You don't know.
I know.
I'm gonna leave it off my list then.
This sucks so hard.
What do you think? You go first.
It's so bad. It's really so bad. All right, I'm gonna go with I got to do these two because these two. I mean, I have to talk about them because I don't think they'll be talked about if I don't talk about them. Like, obviously, there's so many of these that are just like, yeah, this is a great movie. But all right, I'm gonna go with 87, and I believe. Let me check something before I misspeak.
Misspoke?
Misspoke.
What did you speak? That's the 99 list.
That will not come up on my list.
That wouldn't come up on your 1999 list.
Not him specifically.
Oh, but the movie.
Well, sure.
If allowed.
I don't want reviews. I want. No.
All right. What's your clues?
All right. So it's 1987.
Yep.
It's sci-fi for sure.
Oh. Oh, no, it's not that.
Why can't I find?
Let me see. Sci-fi 87.
Sci-fi 87. I just want to make sure. I want to say it's Spielberg.
Oh.
Yep, it's Spielberg.
Oh, that took me in the wrong direction. Huh.
Nope.
Is it a goofy one?
It's very heartwarming.
Does it have little robots?
It does have little robots.
Is it batteries not included?
It is batteries not included.
Nice.
Is that on your list?
It is on my list. It's just not in the top 10.
That movie, I still adore those little creatures, right? And when you're watching the Obi-Wan series, and it had what's her name? Not Dora.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The
Zola?
little robot that she has. It starts with an O or something.
Yeah, whatever that one is. It looks so similar to the creatures from Batteries Not Included. That movie was so much fun. It was so cute and so fun. I still love it.
The only reason why it is on my list, it's further down. The reason why it's further down is if you haven't watched it recently, there's some story elements to it that just doesn't add up. It's like these old people are refusing to leave their home, right? But when you look around, you're like, why are you staying? It's awful over here. There's nothing nearby. You're all old people, so you want stuff nearby, probably. Like you want to walk to the store or something, like, but there's nothing. It's like desolate throughout everything. And it's like, yay, we won. We get to stay in our crappy falling apart.
Right. But it comes down to the human notion that people don't like change, right? People are complacent. They like what they like. They're in their comfortable thing, and now they have to change. And then you have these aliens come down that are forcing them to like rethink things. Like, I don't know. There's so much in that. I adore that movie. Yeah.
No, it's a great movie and stuff. It just, as far as like holding up for me, I don't know if it holds up so much anymore.
Sure. I'm sure it's got moments where if I watched it again, it would probably lose some of its luster. But in my head, when I think of 80s movies, there's those classics. And in amongst those classics is Batteries Not Included. Like, I can't not talk about that movie because I loved it so much when I watched it a ton. It's just, I enjoyed it.
This was a great movie that I believe probably still holds up. I hadn't watched it in a long time, though.
Cocoon, yeah. The same character, same actor was in Cocoon that was in Batteries Not Included. The
Wilfred Grimley?
No. He was in it too, but that's not who I'm thinking of. I forget it.
You're talking about. But yeah, that's a good one. It is on the list.
I love it.
It's down there though. Okay. This one, man, if I give this clue, you instantly know what it is. Let me see if I can give a clue that's not. If I quote anything, you're gonna know. So okay. I don't know. It's a mystery. Does that help?
How about a year?
Oh, year? I'm not sure. Maybe 84. Oh, I think it is 84. Mystery in 84.
84 mystery?
Yeah. I couldn't tell you how it ends because that could change.
No, that's fine. Well, it's not that one.
Mary's got it.
Oh, that's great. What a good movie.
Yeah, of course. It's got 3 different endings, so I couldn't tell you how it ends, right? Yeah, there you go. They got my clue.
Good job.
Oh, it was 85. Okay. I knew it was right around there.
They're redoing it.
Clue is my unapologetically favorite comedy. It may not be the funniest comedy. It may not be, the best of any of its genres that it fits into.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, it is rewatchable for me every single time. I love every minute of it. I'm captivated the entire time. You know, when you watch a movie a bunch of times, you're like, oh, it's this moment, and you kind of fade out, and then you come back for the better ones. I'm captivated every scene because the back and forth and the talking, the characters, and it's just great. And it's better to revisit it as an adult and catch all the innuendos that you didn't as a kid.
Yeah, sure.
Because they stuff them full in there. Yeah, of course it's got to be in there because of board games, right? But it's not even in there because of board games. It's in there because I love the movie. Every time I see it on Amazon, I'm like, I should watch this again. Yeah. And I click it and I watch it again. I love it. And I'll always rewatch it. It's great.
That for me, like I have fond childhood memories of watching that with my parents. Like it was a fun movie. But I believe that movie only holds up because of Tim Curry.
I mean, he definitely supports it. He's the foundation of that movie, right?
You remove
but
him,
all the other characters are great too.
They are, but then it becomes just what was the one with Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston where the dude was murdered on the boat, the lights go down, they come like it's got that very
I only saw half of that movie. I got halfway through and nobody had died yet. I was like, I'm out.
It's got the same feel, right? Where there's these cast of characters, any one of them has the motivation to do the thing that they're saying they did, right? But if you take Tim Curry out of that movie, it just becomes a regular movie. These actors that are saying lines to each other. Tim Curry with the hustle and bustle and the frantic nature that he makes that movie. I believe, for me anyway, if he was anybody else, that movie would not hit as hard. It would not be as good because of the way that what he brings to that movie.
Yvette was the maid.
Whoa, let's go.
Or at least that was the name she was given.
She was.
Yeah. I couldn't. The minute I go to comedy era 80s, that's the first one that pops in my head. And I know a lot of people have other more like typical answers to the 80 ones that pops in my head too. But
yeah.
That's
it's like batteries not included for me. Like thinking of the 80s, like there are certain ones that are quintessential.
You know what's weird about that one is the animation on that one is so good that I wasn't sure if it was 89, 90, like.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Batteries not included. I said it right. 87. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're down to 3.
That was good, man. That's a good pick.
Oh, I didn't know
the animals.
I see them.
You got to find them. You got to find the pelican.
I am your singing telegram.
Where is the dolphin?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that. I'll love both versions or I'll love one version. It doesn't erase the last version.
Yeah, what's his name? Lance Mikester said it to me like when we were talking about Goonies and remaking Goonies. He's like, you don't have to watch the new one. Like, just keep the old one.
Or watch both and like one or both. Yeah. I mean, they're redoing Highlander, which I probably shouldn't be saying stuff that could be on people's list, but I'm excited for that. So.
Yeah, I mean they've redone Highlander a couple times, right? Like they had this TV series and then they had the newer 2.
The TV series was honestly better than any of the movies.
It was really good.
Yeah. Anyway.
There can. Well, that's true.
I honestly wish I'd put it as my number 1 just so I could say that, but it's not.
There can be only. Yeah, it was a really good series. I know, buddy. It's the apple sign. Yeah, that's the strawberry sign.
All right, so we're down to your number 3.
This sucks so bad.
Give us some clues.
It's so bad. All right. So all right, it's going to be 86 and it's going to be animated.
Animated. Oh, okay. Does it did I play a board game that kind of represented it a little bit?
I don't think there's a board game that exists.
Okay. Okay.
There might be like an old school Milton Bradley one, like a long box, like from the 80s when the movie
Oh,
came
sure,
out.
sure. I'm in it. I'm in it together. Did I play one?
No, not at the Gathering.
Okay, so it's not that one. Ooh. Is there a cauldron involved?
A cauldron? No.
No. Sword?
No.
All right. Yeah, I'm not getting it. What is it? Oh. Okay. Well, I have one that's on my list, so we'll see if it's the same. That'd be weird if it was. But go ahead.
Tim got it.
Tim got it. Oh, it is that one.
Yeah.
That is on my list right there. An American Tale. I watched that so much as a kid.
So much.
Oh,
I love 5-0. 5-0 was great. Now, Secret of Nim is awesome, but Secret of Nim was so artistic for what it was doing that it went over me when I first watched it. Right, like I love it now.
Same idea. Yeah,
totally different movie watching it now than watching it then. It was too artistic for what I was going through. But the American Tale, that whole storyline of the him getting lost from his family and the whole moon thing, like everyone looks at the same moon. Like I love that movie to this day.
The song, the duet song that's in it. Yeah, I can't say it'll be in my head if I do it. So
yep, that movie. It was so good for what it was doing. And
I love the big orange cat that was his friend. Tiger, something. I can't remember his name.
Playing, I just love Mice and Mystics. Like in my head, that's happening. Like I know it's obviously a fantasy world and whatever. There's a spell and that whole thing, but like the cat in the kitchen and you as the mouse, like it's like an adventure, an American Tale adventure. It was so influential, especially growing up. That movie was it rock solid.
Yeah, another great adventure movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it has that kids separate from the parents, so they get to have their adventure thing that Disney always does, but they didn't have to kill the parents.
Right.
Like Disney always does.
Yeah. Well, Ratatouille too, right? Like you have the mouse, obviously similar in situation, but like you have the mouse. The mouse doesn't want to do what the family wants to do. They get separated, then they reconnect, and then realize, like a little different, but it's still got that same kind of. Buddy, man, you're driving me crazy. What's up? I don't think anyone wants to hear that. What's that 7 times?
He, I never really liked the second one though.
5 Goes West. No, they put out. It was the first time I remember the collector cards. They had packs of cards and they sold them in boxes. And it was the first time I started buying cards for like Kraken packs kind of stuff. And they had 5 Goes West as one of the boxes. I still have the cards. It was an underwhelming. Like 1 was so good. 2 was just let's make a second movie. It really wasn't. In
fact, did it go straight to video? I'm not sure. It felt like it did. If it did,
it did. I think it did. Okay. I'm pretty sure it did. I don't think it came out in theaters.
Yeah. And that sounds right. But the first one was amazing.
Yeah,
it was a great.
First one was too good.
Good music too.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's a solid pick. That is, I think 23, 24 on my list, something like that. Yeah. Okay. So you're gonna make me do the ones that we are both doing, aren't you? You're making me do it.
They're on your list, and yours are in order. Mine are not. Also, if I get to talk about batteries not included in American Tale, which are like not the top of anyone's list that's out there, like that's
I can just start grabbing from my list that I want to put on there that you haven't done.
Go ahead, do it.
There's these 3 that you're gonna guess 100% are on my list. Right. All right. I gotta do it.
Got 1, 2, 3.
I gotta do it. It's the #1 action film of all time.
Okay.
So you know what it is, right?
From 1988.
Yeah. What is it?
Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, say it.
Die Hard?
Yeah, of course it's Die Hard. Die Hard has to be on this list.
It's on my list.
#1. #1. Yeah, of course. #1 action film ever.
Yep.
And you got to remember that before this film, action films were Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, people that look like superheroes, right? That were like beyond your normal kind of person. And then Bruce Willis shows up from his moonlighting, like goofiness and stuff. Just a guy who's got just a tank top on and just running around. And he didn't like muscle up, didn't even shave his back for the first one. Like he was just a normal dude. And that's what makes it amazing. Not only that, but he gets beat up and cut so much that whenever he sees, Holly, she's like, oh my God. Like looking at him, he's just like getting there. That's what made it so good. And of course, you got Hans Gruber being one of the best villains ever.
Yeah.
Best moments and stuff. Again, another movie where you could take just about any section of it and enjoy each scene, right?
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Agreed.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, Rob. It deserves to be on the list. That's why I didn't say it. I knew you had it.
So First Blood, I don't know if you could say he was an average guy. He was special forces.
He was special forces.
And muscled up and all that, but it was an excellent movie. I think it was 70s though, but it was an excellent movie. It might have been 80. Could have been 80. I could be wrong on that.
Had to be offered to Frank Sinatra. Anyone else could be. Really? What?
Yes. So this script was along for a long time, and it was held up because Frank Sinatra was signed on way like a long time ago, and then held on to being signed onto it for a while. Isn't that insane?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, First Blood was 82. I always thought it was like 79 or 78. Interesting.
Good one. The Rambos were okay. Like they were never. I don't know. They were all right.
Yeah, I mean, the first one is actually a political like thing that you know about the vets that came back and all that stuff. The other ones are just stupid action films, but
yeah.
Yep, that's that had to be said. You made me do it.
I'm gonna make you do the other ones too.
I know you are.
Huh?
I mean, you should be able to guess the other two, really, but
I'm good. I can. I'm definitely not gonna say it though.
Oh, this is on my list, but it's not my last two. I can tell you.
Red Dawn was good too.
It's very good.
Yep, Lethal Weapon. They're good.
Yep, also on my list, but not the last two.
Huh?
All right, what's your number two?
I'm having a really hard time picking between these two.
I should have made you go last so I could force you to do this.
Yeah. I don't know. They're completely different, but
oh, I didn't know that. Weird.
I've done a lot of adventure kind of things. I'm gonna go. All right. Well, I think you're gonna do that one. Maybe you won't. And if you do, fuck it. I don't care. All right. My number two is from 84 again.
84 again. Okay, that doesn't narrow it down. Give me
if you look hard enough, you might see it on the screen.
Oh, Gremlins.
Yeah. Yep.
I thought you were like giving me a clue that was in the movie. Like you got to look in the screen of the. I thought you meant. Yeah, I didn't realize you meant right behind you.
The movie was so. When I never forget the first time they were bubbling up, I'm like, it was like equally disgusting and what the hell's going on? But the lore of like, the father trying to buy the Christmas present goes into this shop and finds this thing. And you're like, oh, I want to know everything about what's going on there and how that all takes over. And then how it just becomes disaster after disaster. And they just can't like get a hold of what's going on. It totally spirals out of control. And, it's still great. I still enjoy watching it. It's still goofy. The other ones were okay. Two is whatever.
They only made one, as far as I'm sure.
Pretty
sure they only made one.
They made one. But yeah, I figured Gremlins might be on your list.
It's number 15, and that blew me away that it made it that far down because I loved it as a kid.
I have no idea how you rank them at all. I really don't. It's so ridiculous. His hardcore bat shit. Yeah.
And there was a bat gremlin in it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean these kind of memories though. The thing is like for me as a kid, Christmas was like a real special time, right? And this they wreck Christmas, like the whole town, and you're like, oh man, like that was a big like big kind of like hit to me as a kid. But you know, I had the little Mogwai, the Gizmo stuffed animal thing, and it was awesome. But their animatronics and the puppetry and stuff was really good.
Yeah,
like exceptionally good for the, for what they were trying to do with it. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. When he's driving around in the sports shop, right, and all the stuff that's happening in that movie, there are a certain amount of movies that I watch every Christmas. Like it goes on repeat. There's Elf. There's Gremlins is it's a great one. Like I have to watch it every year. It never gets old. It's equal parts goofy and fun and heartwarming. It's a great movie.
This is true also. This, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but the skit from Key and Peele where they it's hilarious. Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that one because it's not the last two that I have left. So yeah, I have two left. You should be able to guess them because they have to be on this list. Oh,
interesting.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, and I could see it too because there's some moments in there that's really. I don't know if my kids should.
Yeah. I can name one for sure. I don't know what you have as your other. If it wasn't Gremlins, I don't know what your other one is.
That's interesting. Okay.
Oh, I know what it is.
Do you?
Yeah, I know what your next one is.
You know what my next one? So you know what order they're in?
Yeah, I think this one's going to be number one, and that.
All right, give me a clue to see if you know what it is.
God,
what's my number two?
Does the main character have something to do with metal?
No.
Oh, you shouldn't have to think about it then. No, I have no idea.
Metal. Now I want to know what you're talking about. Weird. Oh, no. That's actually number 14 if that's what you're thinking.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. No. My well, I'll tell you it came out in 1985.
All right. So, I mean, it still has something to do with metal then, doesn't it?
Well, everything has to do with metal for the most part.
Does it have to do with a car?
Yeah. A pretty nice car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how the doors open in that car. It's very useless.
Yeah, and the Mr. Coffee. It's on my list, and I knew you'd talk about it, so I got.
Of course, you can't do 80s movies without talking about Back to the Future.
Yeah, you can't. Yep.
It's an amazing movie. It still holds up. Absolutely, still holds up. The funny thing is, whenever you start seeing the memes saying that if Back to the Future happened now, and he went back in time, what 30 years? So what's 30 years from now? It's like 90. I
don't want to talk about it.
94.
Move on.
94.
Don't want to talk about it.
Oh, that's crazy.
Stupid.
But yeah, I mean, of course, there's goofy stuff in it. There's some kind of like, him and his mom weird stuff and all that. But
how about the fact that the theory that Doc sent Marty back so far because he couldn't send him back to the original time because Marty was in the original time. So like basically Doc sent him back to kill him because you can't have two of them.
That's weird.
There's a whole theory about it. When I started, I'm like, no, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. And then they started going over more stuff, and I'm like, holy shit, this is dark.
No. Of course, that's not what was intended. So that's
Sure, but when you think about it,
yeah, sure. But it's fun to think about that stuff. But the music in this is amazing. Mm-hmm. The jokes, the you know, every scene again is a fun scene. There's a few in there that after you've seen it a bunch, you're like, okay, I don't need to see him sitting at dinner with time with his family and stuff like that. You could get to the fun part, but it's still such a iconic. It's right in the middle, 1985. Great story. It's adventure, time travel, sci-fi. It's great. It's amazing, and they do it so well. Christopher Lloyd is great.
Amazing. Yeah, and the second one's good. The third one,
Third one was okay. Second one was fun, but the first one was just classic.
Yeah, Breakfast Club is on my list.
It is on my list. It's just not in the top yet.
Great. That, a whole bunch of them. Say Anything. Ugh. All right. Well, you took Back to the Future.
That was technically my number 3 because my number 1 was Raiders of the Lost Ark, but you took that one. So
Right. Yeah, I did that on purpose. All right. You want me just to go into number 1?
Go ahead and do it.
And then
You want to give a little clue, or
I'm going to read off the 70 others that didn't make it. Fuck.
Hold on, let me see if I can guess your number 1.
Oh, you know it. Come on.
Do I?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I was surprised that Batman was so far up your list.
Well, I mean, I had to pivot from Superman, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Don't do that. You're going to fall by.
I don't know. I can't imagine that that's on there. I can't imagine
it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
I mean, that doesn't help. We've talked about a lot of your favorite movies of all time, right?
Right. I don't think you're a fan of it. I watch it.
Oh, okay. I know what it is then. If I'm not a fan of it, I know what it is. It's a comedy.
It is.
It's a holiday comedy.
It is.
All right. Go ahead, say it.
I quote that movie. I'll watch that movie every day for a year. I love it. There's nothing there's nothing else that makes me laugh. Like, I know it's coming and I know what's happening, and it still happens, and I still get a kick out of it every time. Yeah, definitely Christmas Vacation. It is fantastic. I love it. I love everything about it. I keep Clark in the station wagon, like the pop is out. Like, I adore that movie. I think it's hysterical. The functionality of the family, like even something as goofy as, like, I don't know, the squirrel. Like, it's just everything about that movie gets me. I love it from front to back.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That is definitely on my list and one of the best. But so I did try to watch it this Christmas. I told you I didn't make it through. Just I think it's a nostalgia thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it is. I mean, there's a lot of family stuff in it. We watch it every year. Like, it's definitely, my sister and I can go back and forth quoting it ad nauseum. And it is a shame that Chevy is a little bit of a dick and known. But that movie is so cool. It's so funny.
I think, comparatively, like, I do have the first one, National Lampoon.
Yeah, Vacation. Yeah.
I mean, the Vacation one. Yeah, I have the first one on my list. And the reason why I have that one on my list is because he doesn't come across as mean. Like, I feel like he's meaner in the Christmas one. I don't know why.
Well, it's because of all that's happening to him.
Yeah, I guess so.
He loses that thing at the end where he has the Tylenol, and like that. He look at all the shit that's happened to him, right? And he's got cousin Eddie, who's just causing chaos. Like, the visible frustration when he talks about waking up with his head sewn to the carpet, and like when cousin Eddie goes to that little wooden pinwheel thing and he just clicks it and it all falls apart. It's just, the frustration on his face throughout that thing as it grows from scene to scene. It's just it's so well done.
It just didn't work for me, but I'm glad you enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't know why I fell short for you. He is a dick. He's a dick.
Well, sure.
That movie's so good.
I have other movies of his on here. I have Fletcher. I have
Fletch. Yeah, Fletch.
Three Amigos. Like I said, I have Vacation.
Vacation, European Vacation, Vegas Vacation. They're all good, but there's none. Like I've watched them all multiple times, but there's none that hits so well as Christmas Vacation. Also, I adore Christmas, so like it's your quintessential
There you
Christmas
go.
movie. Like it's what I like it better than Christmas Story.
Yeah.
I think Christmas Story gets old real quick.
Sorry, I meant Fletch. Yeah.
Yeah, Fletch. Three Amigos. Oh God, there's so many. There's so many. But yeah, Christmas Vacation is definitely number one, and it's right at the end of the '80s too, right? It's '89.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. But
all right.
They play it back to back all day on Christmas. It's like, okay.
Well, can you guess what my number one is?
I thought it was what I was hinting at earlier, but I now I don't know.
Technically, my number two.
It could be. Is it from '84?
I can't remember the exact year. I think it is. Oh no, I don't think it is. What can I tell you? Let's see. How about it doesn't happen during Christmas, but someone sings a little bit of a Christmas song in it. I'm trying to think of clues I could give you.
What?
No, I'm trying to think of clues I could give you, but anything else I say, we'll just give it right away. So,
does it have to do with the paranormal?
It does. I
Is
can
it
tell you about a Twinkie. Yeah, it's Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Was it 84? I think it was late. What was it? Okay, I couldn't remember if it was 84 or 85.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Ghostbusters is technically my number two. Lost Ark was my first, but Ghostbusters, again, one of the first things that pops into my head. And for whatever reason, the first scene that pops in my head is, do you remember whenever Peter Venkman is waiting for her to get off of work, and he's standing by a fountain, and the guy coming out with Sigourney Weaver says, "Do you know that guy?" And he's like, he's doing this.
Yeah.
You remember that scene?
Yeah.
For whatever, that's the first scene that always pops into my head because it tells you exactly what that character is. He's a goofball.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. Yeah.
And I've done that so much whenever I'm just waiting around. I've tried doing that, stupid thing. And it's just ridiculous. I love the character. The humor is just perfect for just the right moments of other things that pop up. It's such a well balanced. I love it. Yeah. Who are you going to call?
That's a good one.
It's great.
Also on my list.
Yeah, I knew it would be. How can it not be?
Of course.
There's so many of these that how could it not be on your list, right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 6. We crossed on 6 of them.
I'm sure I have a few on here that probably wouldn't be on your list.
Oh, guaranteed. Same on my end too. But I mean, I have 80, so I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna. Like, I didn't have Little Monsters on mine. I don't have Christmas Vacation on mine. I think I had all your others though. Let's do a recap. So, what was your 10 that you said?
All right, so I went Goonies.
Yep.
Raiders.
Yep.
Neverending Story.
Yep.
Elm Street.
Yep. Oh, Batman. That's one I didn't have but should have. I just forgot it.
Should have. Yep. Your list is invalid now. Batman.
Yep.
Little Monsters. Batteries Not Included. American Tail. Gremlins. And Christmas Vacation.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't argue with that list. My list, I have to look at the edits because I had to take some out because you took some of mine. So I won't say them in order because I didn't have them in the original order.
But what was your list without the edits?
So my list without the edits was Raiders of the Lost Ark was number 1.
Right.
then Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, Die Hard, Clue, Batman, The Untouchables, Superman 2, Aliens, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Nice.
And then I had to substitute in, happily, had to substitute in The Princess Bride and The Dark Crystal. So I am curious on some of these, if they made them to your list. Do you have Little Shop of Horrors?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that movie. I still
it's great.
have the
Rick
soundtrack.
Moranis is awesome. in that.
Let's see what else. Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
100%. Yep.
Yeah, I lived my life to it as much as I could, which got me in so much trouble. Secret of NIMH was definitely on there, but it was further down. Only because the exact same thing you said. It came out when I was too young to appreciate a lot of it, and I appreciate it more now.
Yeah.
But,
it was very artsy. It had a great story. It has a great story. It's a really good movie, but it was for what it was and what I was looking at. Like if you look at Neverending Story, Goonies, Princess Bride, Secret of NIMH was too. Yeah, Raising Arizona's on my list.
yeah, Raising Arizona was good.
So good. The Thing is also on my list.
Oh yes, the thing's on there. Yeah,
Terminator's on my list.
Poltergeist is on there. Yes, in fact, that's the first thing I thought when you said it's on the screen.
Yeah.
As a hint, I was thinking, oh, like they're here. Like, is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had Splash.
That was not on my list.
Yeah, I love Splash.
That was a good one.
Yeah, because John Candy and Tom Hanks, you know.
Yeah. That was a good pick. I forgot about that one. Beverly Hills Cop's on my list.
When you mentioned metal, did you think Terminator?
No, RoboCop.
Oh, RoboCop. Okay. RoboCop's on the list, definitely, but it's further down because it's so dark.
Yeah, very.
It's just so dark. You got to be in the right mood for it, but it's great. Yeah.
I watched it a couple times and never it's good, but there's never anything that's like I need to watch that again. Like that poor guy.
I know. That scene is tough.
Fucking use him. Really?
Kabuki's just like naming tons of them and stuff. The Shining. Yeah, Glory is also on my list, very close to the top.
Glory is very good. E.T. for sure.
I actually thought Glory was in the 90s until I started doing this list. That was like 91.
Raging Bull's on my list. That almost made it to my top.
Yeah.
Raging Bull's fantastic.
Goonies was in there for sure.
Yep, Goonies.
We both had that in our you had that in your top 10. I had my
I did.
21, 22, something like that.
What about for you?
Blade Runner is very close, yep.
Where was it? Was it on the other side? Oh, Rain Man.
I didn't have Rain Man. I don't dislike it at all. I think I watched it much later after it came out, and so I just didn't. I mean, it's a very good movie.
What about Howard the Duck?
Oh yes, it is 100% there. It is such a bad movie that I love to watch.
Yep.
I watched it a billion times as a kid.
Yeah.
Some of it does not hold up.
No, well, also the main bad guy is a fucking pedophile or whatever.
Yeah.
Children porn or something. It's so bad. But it's so good when they're in that little kite and they're flying in.
Oh yes,
Oh,
it is such a bad movie, but
it's brutal.
As a kid, I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of these that didn't make the top 10 because they're nigh watchable. Like you can barely watch them anymore. Like, I mean, Adventures in Babysitting.
Yeah, it's on my list. 87.
I love that movie.
Yep.
But you know, I don't think it could be watched anymore. I don't know.
I think some of it still holds up.
I mean,
good.
Oh, that's right. Tim Robbins was in Howard the Duck. He was the scientist friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Oh.
So what about the 1-2 punch from Eddie Murphy of Coming to America and Golden Child? I mean, other way around. Golden Child was first, but
yeah, Golden Child more for me than Coming to America. Coming to America was funny. and
Yeah.
that was fine and stuff. But the Golden Child, I want the knife. I mean, that's such a that was my favorite Eddie Murphy from '80s, and I also like Beverly Hill Cops and 48 Hours. But yeah. What about Teen Wolf?
Teen Wolf for sure.
I love Teen Wolf as a kid.
Yeah.
I liked the idea of me suddenly getting powers when I was a kid. Like, the whole, because you're a shy kid and all that stuff. You're wanting something to give you the ability to pop out, and that was all great.
Trading Places is awesome. Brewster's Millions is another one.
Oh, Brewster's Millions, that's so good.
Yeah. American Werewolf in London. These are all Blues
Brothers, American Werewolf, yes.
So what about on the more, like, we've gotten a lot of adventure, a lot of comedy, but on the more serious side?
Oh, well, we said Glory.
Glory, definitely. Stand By Me.
Oh, I totally forgot. That needs to be on the list.
Yep, 86.
I believe I forgot that one.
Dead
War
Poets
Games?
Society.
Oh, Dead Poets Society. You sure that's not 90?
No, 89.
89. Okay, it's close.
We talked about Breakfast Club. What about Cocktail?
I don't think I've ever seen the full movie.
Oh, God, it's heartbreaking.
Is it? Yeah.
There's a scene in there that it sticks with you. I don't even know if anyone watched this that's watching right now. Have you ever seen or heard of a movie with Mark Harmon called Stealing Home?
No.
Oh God, it's so fucking good. It's very serious. The main character, Mark Harmon, finds out that like this girl that he was in love with when he was younger passed away, and he's in charge of her ashes. And now he goes through his entire history of like what she meant to him and all these things. He's trying to figure out what to do. It's David Foster did the music. It is unbelievable. It's so good. Wow. If you like, I mean, Mark Harmon's Mark Harmon. Like he's just a great actor. But that movie, it hits you in the gut so hard.
Lady Hawk was really amazing.
Yep.
It's one of those weird ones that nobody talked about until later, At least it felt that way.
I like the Top Gun with bartenders.
Yeah.
I like Cocktail. I thought it was a good movie. There's just it kind of I don't know. It's definitely more specific than it needs to be, but there's just something in that movie that resonated, and it gets you in the gut sometimes.
War Games.
War Games, yep, for sure.
Yep, it's another one where he's a nerd, shy, and stuff like that. It kind of got to me as an older kid. I was surprised that When Harry Met Sally was in the 80s too.
Yep.
I thought that was 90. It's very close to it.
Yep.
Amadeus, by the way.
I like Amadeus. That was 84, wasn't it?
Yeah, Amadeus the thing is that I think Amadeus might be technically the best movie of the 80s. It's just not my favorite movie of the 80s.
It's the only reason it's not, and why it's not. Like I liked what it was doing, and I liked the movie as a whole, but it was they took too many liberties and facts to make it a movie.
Sure, I mean you kind of have to at that distance in history, right?
Yeah.
But I mean and of course the Salieri character sells the whole thing, but that actor and what he brings to that role, I mean his monologues and stuff from it was just amazing. And of course you got the score behind it, which how do you get a better score than that?
No, it's absolutely.
But yeah,
it's a good one. But it's just there were too many liberties taken, I think, to make it like really hit. For me, anyway. And yeah, it got a best picture. So, I mean, it was doing something right.
Yeah. Trying to look for more serious ones. Excalibur is 80. I was surprised. I thought Excalibur was like 74 or something. It still looks like it's in 70s, not 80s.
It's supposed to be. Yeah. But, well, I guess that's not really serious. Say Anything, Raising Arizona is hysterical. Raging Bull.
We talked about Cocoon.
Field of Dreams.
Oh, I love this movie, and it's very serious. Good Morning Vietnam.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
yeah.
that. Talk about heartbreaking.
Field
I
of
mean,
Dreams.
it's so real. Yeah, that was a great movie.
How have we not talked about Bill and Ted?
It's not on my list on purpose.
God,
On
really?
purpose. Yeah, I don't hate it or anything, but it just never landed for me.
Oh wow.
I think it was just the overacting of it. That it was just too goofy for me at the time that it came out.
Okay. That was
Yes,
89.
Manhattan Project was excellent.
Manhattan Project. Road
Road
Warriors.
Warrior.
One. Yep.
Yeah.
Risky Business.
Yes. Secret of My Success is
Yep.
high up on my list. And it's kind of cringy if you watch it today because there's some stuff in it. A lot of stuff, actually. But, I loved it as a kid. So
There's some other classics we didn't talk about. I thought you might have brought up Lethal Weapon, Karate Kid, Predator, Last Starfighter.
Yep. Terminator. Yep.
Terminator. And then one, I mean, I guess it's kind of, I don't know. It's Star Wars adjacent. So maybe that's why we left it off the list. But Spaceballs.
Oh, I know. It's the problem is I've watched it so many times that now it's like, this is one of the ones that, like, I don't need to watch it again. I get the whole movie in my head.
But it's too good.
Oh yeah, Ferris Bueller, whatever, Bueller. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that was my 19, I think. Yeah.
So Willow, Matt. Willow was the one I was. I thought maybe Chris was going to talk about Gremlins, so I was going to talk about Willow, but I didn't. I didn't mention Willow because I talked about so many fantasy adventure type movies like prior to when we got to there that I figured Gremlins deserved to be talked about over Willow. But man, Willow is great. I just tried to rewatch it because I wanted to get into the series that they just redid. It still cracked me up.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was amazingly good.
Another great one. Yeah,
it's crazy because it's this comedy all the way through, and at the end they just punch you with like the heart. Oh no! Like, and then the whole movie means something else.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
And of course, the other Indiana Joneses, the Last Crusade, the Doom, Temple of Dooms. Those are amazing. They're great.
Yep.
Oh, Big's another great one.
That was on my list that I also didn't mention. I was going to pivot to it depending on how many of them you hit of mine, but Big was. I wanted one of those machines, right? You wanted to go and get.
Oh yeah.
Be big with your best friend. Like it was just you get to work in toys. Like come on.
It's weird that like I rewatched it a few years ago, and I guess when I was young I didn't think about it, but now you're thinking about it. It's like he was 14 and she was not, and like is that okay anymore? That wasn't okay then. Like it's a weird thing. Just like try not to think about it. Yeah, but it's still that was such a great movie. So
it was. Talking about John Candy, I had Uncle Buck on my list.
I never got into Uncle Buck. I had The Great Outdoors.
Great Outdoors is also another one. Yep.
I love that movie. Yeah.
Mr. Mom, Parenthood, Canine.
Mr. Mom. I forgot about Mr. Mom.
A lot earlier than I thought. It's 83.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Mom was great. Yeah.
It's just Predator.
Highlander. Predator was amazing. Loved Predator. I just rewatched it about a year ago.
Caddyshack, Airplane.
I didn't have Caddyshack on there. Again, I think the humor was like a little bit older for me whenever I first watched it, so it felt that way. Yeah. Oh, Short Circuit.
Short Circuit, fan. Johnny Five.
I have Johnny Five.
Yep.
I have a bunch of goofy ones. Crocodile Dundee.
Yep.
What else is on it? Inner Space. Do you remember that movie?
From 87 is on my list too. I didn't think anyone else knew about that one.
Oh, Martin Short. It's the only Martin Short movie besides Three Amigos I really enjoyed.
It's so good.
But Robert Picardo plays the cowboy in that, And later on, he's in Star Trek and Voyager as a doctor. And there was a long time at the very first season of that, I just could not stop seeing him as the. Yeah, you mentioned the Karate Kid. Oh, we forgot about Romance in the Stone and
Stone, Julie. Yep.
Yeah.
Cannonball Run was 81. History of the World was 81. Escape from New York.
Bloodsport.
Tron. Fucking Tron. Annie.
Yes. 80s was amazing. What happened to movies?
Absolutely stupid. The amount of movies that came out in the 80s. It really is.
Starman, yeah. Starman and The Last Starfighter, I think, came out in the same year, 84, right?
Last Starfighter was
nuts.
84. Yep.
Yeah.
Prince of Darkness. That might be the one I was thinking of before Kabuki. The Carpenter one.
Yeah, keep naming them, guys.
Bull Durham is ridiculous.
3 Men and a Baby. Just, I don't know why I watched that a lot as a kid, but I did.
Look Who's Talking.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Why did we watch those? I don't know.
They're just goofy and they were different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big
Twins.
Trouble. Yeah. What?
Twins is fun.
Twins is fun. Yeah.
I think Twins would hold up. I don't think 3 Men and a Baby would hold up anymore.
No,
I think Twins
not.
would. Oh, I had The Land Before Time.
Land Before Time. So there were two of them I wanted to talk about when we got into animated that I didn't. Land Before Time, because I just started watching it with him because obviously he likes dinosaurs. So that worked. Buckaroo Banzai was great. It's so dumb, but it's so good.
It's a weird one.
My Neighbor Totoro. Like that whole Miyazaki, bringing over the Miyazaki stuff.
Yeah.
Right. We wouldn't like that whole influx of animation from that side of the world.
Like
right?
Akira and stuff like that.
Yeah. Akira was another one.
The only reason why I put Akira on here, but it's down low. And the only reason why is because I wasn't even aware of that stuff until after the 90s, I think.
No, for sure. I caught all that stuff. Yeah, Akira. I caught all that stuff
late 90s. Yeah.
Howl's Moving Castle, like all of that stuff coming in afterwards. But like My Neighbor Totoro was kind of the first one that brought all of the Miyazaki stuff over.
Yeah.
Or at least put it on the radar. Unless you were into that stuff to begin with. Like I believe Akira was first. But no question it was amazing, but I don't think of them as 80s movies because I saw them so much later afterwards, right? Same.
Someone mentioned The Red Dawn. That was an amazing movie at the time. I can't tell you how many times movies like that in my head as a kid, sitting in a boring classroom, I look outside and like, oh, what if it did start happening? And where would you go? And then I'm not paying attention to the class at all, right?
That happened.
You didn't have Dune on your list, though, you said.
I never got into Dune. I tried to watch the reboot with all the new stuff, and it's so dry. Literally, I'm not using it as a. It's so dry. There's so many lulls that you're just like, what the fuck? Like, speed it up. Oh,
Iron Eagle I actually like more than Top Gun.
Iron Eagle is very good. That was Gossett, right? Lou Gossett Jr.
Yep. Oh my God! How did I forget Enemy Mine? Did you ever see that movie?
Nope.
It had him in it, and it had Quaid, Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid. It's sci-fi, so Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr. He plays a alien. Can't remember what they're called, but they're kind of Dennis Quaid. Yeah. Enemy Mine, underrated.
I remember that.
They crash land together.
Yeah.
On a planet, and they're enemies, but then they have to get. Yeah.
I remember there's the fire scene, like a campfire kind of thing, where they're all. I remember that.
Yeah. Zombies is a little kid that he finds and all this stuff. Oh yeah, that's such a good movie.
I do remember that one.
Yeah, that one. Comedy. I began to love even more after I bought this house, which is The Money Pit.
The Money Pit was great.
There's that one scene in The Money Pit, Tom Hanks movie, where the bathroom, like they go upstairs and fill the bathtub. They don't have water yet. So they're filling the bathtub with water from the fountain or something, right? Just so they could take a bath. And they have to keep going upstairs with it, and he fills it up, and then just as he fills it up, the bathtub falls through the floor.
Yeah.
And there's this scene where they're looking at him, looking down at it, and he just starts losing it in laughter and laughing in her face and pointing at the hole. It makes me laugh every time I think of that scene.
No, that's a good one. Money Pit's classic.
Did you ever see Dragnet?
Yeah, it was okay. It didn't make it for me.
Did you watch the show that it came from?
With Leslie Nielsen, like the old school one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Friday and all that. I actually watched that show before I saw the movie, so what it was making fun of was funny to me. So that's why it's on there.
Yeah, it was.
But it was supposed to suck in a way.
It was.
Yeah, War Games was great.
Yep.
Man, so many good movies. We didn't say The Jerk.
With Steve Martin.
Yeah. We forget The Jerk.
Yeah, you just keep going. It's crazy.
I have both Conans on here.
Yeah, they were good.
I mean, the first one was good. The second one was, but
yeah, they were about the same.
Really?
The Jerk was 79.
Oh, was it? Okay. Well, then, haha.
That's why I was on
We'll
the
have
list.
to do 70s movies. Probably won't be as long as the list.
No,
I'll tell you now. The Little Nile was also good.
I don't know. There's too many. There's so many.
Oh, Legend.
Tim Curry. Oh,
Tim Curry again.
Amazing.
Oh, All of Me. Yes.
Yeah.
All of Me was Steve Martin and what's her name? The incredibly shrinking woman. What was her name? Lily Tomlin?
Is it Lily? Yeah. From
Yeah, where her like spirit goes in him, and he has to play like two. It's so good.
Yeah, Legend.
Yeah,
Definitely for the visuals. That movie, I remember watching it and being thoroughly confused at what the hell was going on, but also equally terrified at the demon. Like he was just overwhelmingly like, wow. But the movie was like, wait, what? Like I had no clue what was going on in that.
Oh, I have some bad ones that are good. All right, so They Live.
Oh God, Roddy Piper.
Yes.
Oh,
I snuck him into Troubles, by the way.
Roddy Piper is in trouble.
He's into the expansion of Troubles. Yeah.
Oh man, I gotta find that one. That's funny.
It's an alien holding the shotgun with the sunglasses and the hair, and he's saying something about chewing bubble gum.
Yeah. It was so goofy.
Oh, they're going into Reanimator. That was not a good movie. But we're talking about some bad ones. Alien Nation. Strangely enough, I think I was more interested in the show than the movie.
Huh.
But the show was kind of slow too. Christine was good. Christine was very good. Here's another bad one, but I loved it as a kid. Popeye.
Oh God, Robin Williams. Yeah.
I mean, they nailed the character.
Yeah, he did.
Olive oil.
Yep.
Oh, I mean, it's such a bad movie.
Oh, it's like Flintstones, right? Like watching John Goodman and Rick Moranis with the Flintstones. Yeah.
I'm allowed. I was a kid.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Matt. Sure.
Oh, you remember Beastmaster?
I do remember Beastmasters. Another weird. Well, Masters of the Universe also was 80s.
Oh, was it 80s? I was thinking it was 90.
No, it was 80s.
Yeah, it's weird that Courtney Cox was in it. She was the girl.
Yeah.
But her boyfriend was in Star Trek as well, and the Voyager series is Tom Paris. And I just realized that just like a year ago. Or no, not even a year ago, a few months ago. That was very weird.
What are you doing? What?
Tales from the Dark Side was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, anything? Oh, Mannequin.
Oh, what a good. Yep.
Remember Mannequin? James
Jeff
Spader, the bad guy.
Yep. I remember that one.
What was that guy's name? The main character, because he was in a few things that I can
Don't remember.
recall. Yeah.
Is he
And
the
some
one with Weekend at Bernie's?
was that 90? 91?
That character from Mannequin wasn't he one of the characters in Weekend at
Oh,
Bernie's?
maybe.
One of the actors.
Flash Gordon, was that? I thought that was 70s. Was that 80?
No, Flash Gordon was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
In silver underwear. Andrew Shue.
Yeah.
Andrew McCarthy.
Oh, McCarthy. Damn it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. Time Bandits we talked about in the comments. I know that. Did you know they're talking about remaking Time Bandits?
They're remaking everything.
I guess it'll be interesting to see what happens.
This is so stuck in my head now too.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. I have The Abyss. Amazing movie.
This is good.
Another Cameron. Well, isn't there? Oh, did you ever see Somewhere in Time?
That was Christopher Reeve.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Not a lot of people know that one when I bring it up.
Well, Christopher Reeve.
Yeah. But it was it's a very slow one because it's almost like a love story, really. But it's it's fascinating, the time travel aspect to it, that it's all in its that he uses his mind to make it happen, kind of thing. Yeah,
that's a great movie. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about so many movies. I think that Clash of the Titans was 80.
It was not very good, but it was 80s.
But okay, yeah, it's not rewatchable in today's time and stuff. No. But at the time,
sure,
it was adventurous. It was epic. All that stuff. The Kraken. We talked about that. We talked about monsters and stuff. But yeah. Oh no, that was Whiskey Wednesday actually that I talked about that on Monster.
Yeah, you did.
But yeah, I just too many. 9 to 5.
9 to 5. Dirty Dancing. Eric just brought up.
Dirty Dancing. Yeah, I've never seen the full Dirty Dancing movie. I've only seen bits and clips and stuff. Footloose, of course.
Footloose, Flashdance, like all those kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is silly ones. Lost Boys. Did we mention that one?
Well, it was mentioned in the comments.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, some of these.
Oh, there it is, right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kroll. Yeah, Kroll is not great, but it's fun.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot that it's interesting because there's a lot from this time period that is, for whatever reason, we thought was fun at that time, and then now we know better, but we still love it no matter what. I don't know if I can feel that way. Maybe it's just because of the age limit, right?
Sure.
Like maybe if you're young, that's just the case, that you're willing to accept almost anything they put in front of you, and then you love certain things that you wouldn't normally once you grow up because it's,
well, depending on the time too, right? You're impressionable, and you're in your you're just hitting double digits, so like you're watching stuff for the first time, and it's stuff starting to make a little bit more sense than it did when you were younger. But like, I don't know, some of the stuff, going back and watching some of this shit, like I don't understand how I am the way I am, because some of it, like Elm Street and all those things, even
RoboCop.
I don't think I ever watched it. You're not missing too much. For what it was interesting. But Return to Oz.
Oh, I never saw it.
Holy shit! Like everything, like it is creepy as fuck. Like watching it now, it's so weird with these characters on like stilts with wheels. Like it's so weird.
Oh, that sounds familiar. Maybe I did see it.
And they had TikTok. What's her name from?
Oh my god! Yes, I did see this. Oh, that was creepy.
Nightmarish. Some of the things that were happening. Yeah, this one
from the pumpkin head thing. Yeah.
What was the movie that she The Craft? She was in The Craft. This was, I think it was something like that. But yeah, it was.
Oh, geez.
It was so creepy. The shit that was going on. I remember
tried to block that one out. You brought it back.
The what?
I tried to block that one out, and you brought it back.
Oh God, because there were some fun things going on. Like I really liked TikTok as a character, but holy shit, like the stuff that was going on in that movie was just what in the hell, man. No, it was not great for an 8-year-old. Not at all. It was nightmarish. It really was.
Oh, you know, it was a great one for me as a kid, but I don't really hear people talk about it ever. Really, it was Explorers.
Oh, I remember that.
Remember that, where the three kids, like one of them, they're getting a signal from space,
Yeah.
and they figure out how to create a bubble, and they build their own little spaceship and put it in that bubble and go up to space and meet the. I actually think the suits of the aliens were really good.
Didn't that have one of the Corys in it? You know, there were like 7 Corys that were in every movie in the 80s.
Yeah, probably. I knew that it had Ethan Hawke in it.
Yeah, that's Ethan Hawke I'm thinking of too.
And the young River Phoenix. Maybe that's right.
Yeah, it had some of those young characters that were in all of the stuff.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, and we're missing a really good
So what are you doing?
Michael Caine and Steve Martin movie. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Oh, Scoundrels. Yeah.
Such a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It's too many good stuff.
What are you doing?
I want to just take this list and start watching everything.
Okay, give me.
We should put this list in the description.
That was mentioned. Escape from New York. I had.
You know, I don't think I've ever seen all of Escape from New York
It's good.
or LA. I think I've only seen parts of.
You have to like him as an actor.
I do. Oh yeah, I have Big Trouble in Little China on here.
Oh,
do
Misery, man. Oh, Misery was so hard to watch. It's so good, but
Witness was good.
Witness was good. Escape from New York they're both fine.
Yeah, Big Trouble in Little China.
Trouble was mentioned. Yep.
And rewatchable because it's spoofy, right? It's
Yeah.
meant to be that kind of crazy. Oh, did you ever see Top Secret?
Sounds familiar, but I can't.
Val
recall.
Kilmer. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he plays a singer during just before America gets involved into the World War II. So he goes over to Germany and he's going to a festival to be like an American singer or whatever, but then he gets in trouble with the Nazis. It's slapstick all the way through, but I love it. It's hilarious.
Well, it's like Weird Science too with him.
Yep. Airplane. Airplane was not on my list, and it was taken off my list actually because I tried to rewatch it.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
The problem with Airplane is there are scenes that are hilarious in my head all the time, but all the stuff in between, it's kind of rough.
Yeah,
to get to those scenes,
Yeah, for sure.
So Weird Science is one of those that I remember liking a lot. And whenever I think back on it, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to like that as much anymore. Had Paxson in it, though. That's fair.
Says the 12-year-old Matt. Nice. Yeah, it's a hell of a list. It's absolutely the reason why we've been talking about all these other ones was it's damn near impossible to do 10 from the 80s because it's so influential, especially for our age. Like we grew up in that stuff.
Did you ever watch Roxanne?
Yep.
Yeah, that's another one that for whatever reason came on TV a lot, and I watched a lot.
Yeah,
I don't know why. It was fine. I think if I watched it today, I'd be like, yeah, that was fine.
Yeah,
but I just love the movie for some stupid reason.
Yeah, I don't know if I would keep it.
I can't argue against it. It's just okay. But for whatever reason, it hooked into me, and I watched it a billion times as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. It's just Robin Williams, I think. I mean, I don't know. It was okay. It was fun for what it was. But again, it's like the Flintstones.
Yeah. Did we say Beetlejuice?
Beetlejuice was mentioned.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, that's coming back too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. What year was that? 80? Was that in the 89 club?
89, I think. Yep. Yeah. Just too many good movies. Highlander, Three Amigos,
88.
Labyrinth. 88. Okay.
88. Interesting.
Let's see, 88, I would have been 10. Yeah. That sounds about right for Beetlejuice to be stuck in your head forever.
Yeah. Oh God.
All right. Well, we could do this forever.
I know,
But,
seriously.
yeah, I don't think anybody could argue that the 80s doesn't have the best, at least the wealth of movies that you could watch and have fun with. Like the amount, quantity wise. I don't think my list would be bigger for any other decade.
I think if we started getting into the 90s and what came out in the 90s probably would be as big.
I think 90s would be close.
Yeah.
And I was a teenager and all that in the 90s. So I'd probably,
Yeah.
and I would imagine that I could find movies from the 90s that I would feel would be even better than all the movies from the 80s kind of thing.
Sure.
But I don't know if there's this much of a list of movies I would rewatch again from the 90s.
It's hard. I mean, we'll do it. That'll be an
Yeah,
upcoming.
we'll have to do it.
But there's a lot. Definitely ones that would replace the ones that are on here, but there's so many.
Like Ghostbusters 2? No, I'm kidding.
Definitely Ghostbusters too. Do you want another?
That
one?
might be 89 anyway.
No,
That will never happen, right?
Nah, I think it was less than. Do you want to say bye?
Hi.
You got to come over here and say it.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. He knows how it goes.
I wanted this.
I know. I'll give you a piece when we're done. Okay. We'll say bye first. I'll give you
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Tell us in the comments which ones we missed. I know we missed more. I know there's
Yeah.
more.
No, there's a ton. Like you were mentioning some in the chat.
Jackie Chan, of course. I think of Jackie Chan in the 90s, though. Or like Rumble in the Bronx kind of stuff.
Right, that was 90s, right? That's a great
Yeah.
one.
Well, he had some 80s and stuff, but
Yeah, for sure.
all right. We'll see you next Monday. And you said you're doing This Is the Play later this week, so
Yeah, we're gonna do Life of Rotera, the Eric Lang new one from Hasbro on Friday, buddy. Oh, what's that say?
tell them do your thumb up.
Like, say subscribe.
Right.
Perfect.
You do that?
Can you give a thumbs up?
Thumb up.
Thumbs up, not your finger. Thumbs up.
Close enough.
Can you give them a finger? Good job.
Where is
All
Daddy?
right, bye everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Say bye, Luca.
Daddy.
Say bye. Say bye.
Graphic